Magic, we are rolling.
Yeah, shredheads, waxheads, kooks and barneys, welcome to Ain't That Swell, the radio show dedicated to cutting fucking sick. I'm your host, the two-time Gold Cone Piece Award-winning surf journalist, Scum Valley's finest himself, the punch-drunk pikey, the sultan of psilocybin, the maestro of micro-dosing.
Smiv!
I'm joined here, as always, by my loyal friend and co-host, frontman of the Goons of Doom, former editor of Surfing World Magazine, Tracks Magazine, and Waves Magazine, Vaughan, Rinsed Corn, Deadly.
Hello, Smivy.
How are you?
It's a new era, brother. Here we go. Hey!
Have a look.
Look at this. Welcome, folks, to a new glorious era of Ain't That Swell. We finally got our shit together, Smivy, after years of trying to get, I don't know, old fucking Nokia 3110s to record these podcast episodes so we could whack them up on some sort of internet device.
Oh, mate.
We finally got the team. Tani joins the crew. On your time. Welcome, bruv.
They're only good for snake and upskirts, those things, Vaughan.
Oh, they're so bad. But going good, Smithy. Good start to the year. I know it's been a hectic start to the year for many people. Do recognise that. We have been thinking a lot about a lot of our mates who have been affected by all sorts of shit. Fires, floods, fucking bombarding swells that just are relentless in the islands, bruh.
Megalodons with gnashy teeth.
Yeah, there's been a lot of shit going down. But all in all, pretty good start to the year in terms of just the general vibe around the coastal regions where I've been keeping my time. Smivy. Smiv dog. Smiv lord.
It's true. It's interesting. I've been reading the great Stoics, the ancient Greek philosophers, and
who have you been tapping into? A bit of Aristotle,
bit of Seneca, a bit of Epictetus, a bit of fucking tetanus, and all
tetanus?
of them. Yeah, you know the ones. But, look, it's all about tranquility in their mind. The goal is tranquility, and I'll tell you, there's been nothing more tranquil than the East Coast Ocean for the last 3 months. Barely a fucking slither of waves. Nothing but just smooth sheet glass, nothingness. But it's good to get the tranquil stocks up ahead of the cone season, which is incoming. For the Usher Cup rinsed corn this weekend.
Feels swollen out there, doesn't it, Smithy? It feels like
brooding.
A big, juicy, weighty mango just ready to squirt its juices all over us, mate. I'm ready.
That's right. The gonads have been storing the energy. The Jizz factory's been in overload, just ready for the big spurt. All over the Usher Cup this weekend. Yeah. It's going to be great.
It will be great. Tune in. There's a live broadcast. It kicks off. I think it actually kicks off on Thursday. So is that today?
It is today.
It is today.
Fuck.
Wow.
Are we meant to be up there?
I think we're meant to be up there, Smithy.
Shit.
Oh, God, what a schmozzle. Good start of the year, though, mate. Actually, we should doff the cap to the Burley single fin.
Got it.
We're up there, just the usual sticko, coconut oil, crotcheted bikinis. Funny how the fashion hasn't changed, but the bodies wearing them have aged significantly since the 70s. I swear I saw a couple of birds who would have been sitting on that point back in 1977 when MP and Rabbit and MR and Sean were doing battle off the point.
Oh, yeah.
And,
rigs like a melted candle, Vaughan. Gravity.
Oh, yeah.
It's relentless.
Skin like a freaking, I don't know, a sandblasted teepee from ye old times of yore. But what a time. What a time to be alive. What a time to be out there. We kind of got rained out. But Smithy, I had a run-in up there with a creature that I've not been in contact with for some time, mate. The Portuguese man-o'-war, a.k.a. Blue Bottle. Fuck me, those cunts sting.
Oh, they can rip it right up your glands.
It was in my heat. I was spinning in the dying seconds. It wrapped around my wrist. And then as I was like turning to get the wave, I just felt it wrap around my thigh.
Oh.
Mate, it was fucking like getting electrocuted. It was so potent. And it led me to do a little bit of deep diving on these phenomena that just blow up on our fucking shorelines.
Yeah, what is
every
their
summer.
go?
So their Latin name is the Phaesalia utriculus, believe it or not. Odd creature, Smiv. Odd creature. It is a predator, so it's basically designed by nature to kill, eat, and root. So pretty similar to all NRL players, East Coast surfers.
Yeah, a classic predator.
Classic predator.
How does a blue bottle fornicate? Are you going to get to that?
Yeah, I am going to get to that. Actually, they're not a single organism. They're actually a colony of 4 separate tribes that work together to create this sort of single unit of coexistence. They're fucking amazing, man.
Wow.
So there's the 4 tribes go by these names: the dactylozoids, the pneumatophore, the gastrozoids, and the gonozoids. And dude, they're called the zoids. The 4 tribes are called the zoids, bro. Are you joking? I'm not even joking.
Wow.
They're not jellyfish. They're not even closely related. They're a colony of coordinated organisms called the zoids. Do you want a rundown of how they work?
Please.
So the dactylozoids, they're the tentacles. They're basically the cunt tribe. They're the ones that fucking everyone wants to, burn. Yeah. They're gnarly. The gastrozoids, as you would expect, they do all the digestion and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah. The pneumatophores, that's the bubble. They're the crew keeping the whole thing afloat.
The geodesic dome of wellness.
That's it. They are the swellness center, if you like.
Yep.
And the gonozoids, can you guess?
I'm going to guess that's the Blue Bottle's Jizz factory.
That's the Jizz factory, bro. And the egg jam factory as well.
Way, of course.
So I thought for sure that, the blueies, the gonozoids would just be like balls deep or at least tentacle deep 24/7. Sadly, Smiv, they don't get to enjoy the parry and thrust of the mating ritual. They just squirt their jizz into the ocean, pump their eggs out into the ocean, and hopefully the two float together to form a new colony.
Consummate, yeah.
Isn't that mad?
Oh, wow, it's so mad. So we're just swimming through Blue Bottle fig
we
jam
are just
and jizz.
literally
just drinking it down.
caked in Blue Bottle spudge and egg jam, mate.
So if only they had one of those UV lights on us as we came out of the water,
God,
we'd just be glowing cosmic jizz and egg jam.
Yeah. Now, there's one myth that we need to debunk. Pissing on a Blue Bottle sting doesn't have any effect.
Really?
In fact, it can make the sting worse once it combines with the venom of the Blue Bottle.
Oh, man, I couldn't tell you how many times I've laid spread-eagled there and had a circle of my mates piss all over me.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can still do that for fun. Don't eliminate that from your life, but
it's a little trough
I was
man in August.
I don't know, after hanging out up there at Burleigh and, sort of copping the amount of sausage sangers the locals were eating, just drenched in barbecue sauce, just hitting the hard solos and the sugar water, alcos late in the arvo, and then smelling the gassy Coke fast just fully drifting out of the pav all up the headland. I was like, you know what? No Blue Bottle is surviving a piss from fucking this lot. None. Anyway, that's it, Smith. That's my little update on the colony of coexistence, peaceful coexistence, collective coexistence that is the Portuguese
Zoids.
man or the Zoids, mate. Welcome.
Oh, mate, an incredible insight, and it's a real surprise. We haven't seen David Attenborough get his snorkel on and get his face just buried in Zoid jizz.
Yeah, I know.
A disgrace, in fact.
Makes you wonder about turtles and sea snails, the predominant sort of masticulators of the Blue Bottle. Are they getting in there because they like the taste of them, or are they just sick puppies who want to just slurp up that jizz?
Fuck. Wouldn't surprise me.
Finger buns!
Finger buns just sitting in the room. They're sweet and sticky and absolutely delicious. Finger buns, feed your face in finger buns.
Yeah, baby. Finger buns. We're back. And how should we kick this off with number 5?
Oh, Gabby Medina, he's gone.
No, Smithy.
Fired.
Oh.
Pectoral injury suffered in Mauritius. Officially, it was a tube to full rote oop combo gone awry.
Seen it.
But I've also heard reports that this is actually a beard, and in fact, he nicked himself shaving his pits.
Of course.
But look, in any case, hard to imagine how he's going to spend this layoff. But if past form is any guide, I imagine there's going to be some serious hole wrecking going on. It's not hard to foresee a queue of Brazilian women lining up outside the doctor's clinic there in Mauritius, clasping twisted ovaries rinsed corn. He's going to be seriously pent up, a lot of rage. He's going to be filthy at missing the 2025 season. A duel, a mano-a-mano duel with the great John Fosgon, begging yet again.
Oh,
They're just missing each other, zigging and zagging.
What's going on? I'm so devo that Medina has ripped his titty off pre-25 season. Like, everything's set up. Everything's set up for the surf fan to be properly lubed and pumped by the Woz in terms of, what's that called? Where you just completely in sync. Oh, fuck, what's the word?
Symbiosis,
yeah,
synchronicity.
we want to be pumped. We want to be pumped by the Woz. We want to have a great year of just like letting 2 full-blown alpha dogs go at it in and on the Dream Tour.
I think I speak for the global surfing public when I say I would love nothing more.
Consensual, that's the word I was looking for.
That's it. To be in a consensual John Flores, Gabriel Medina sandwich all year long. Just a vicious, vigorous pumping from these 2 surf alphas.
Mate, it's just so bizarre
right between the
that
years.
we haven't had a proper JJF Medina, Thriller in Manila, Rumble in the Jungle, Brouhaha on the World 2 Ha. And now we're fucking robbed again. I mean, don't get me wrong, Smithy. There is plenty of, contenders in the mix this year. Phil's back.
The Puckerist.
The Puckerist
He
is
returns.
back. What will he bring? Ethan Ewing is looking deadly. Oh, did you cop the
I
clip?
did. Excalibur is out. He's wielding that thing willy-nilly.
Looking meaty and mean. Jack Robbo, Vortex Shaman.
Why not? Could be his year.
Could be his year. Griff, Colapinto. There's a bunch of them who are all there and thereabouts, and there's probably a few little wild cards that always have a little fire away. But the tour is just so fucking, it's so tasty looking at the moment. Don't know, mate. Don't know. And the other thing is that there's heaps of rumours swirling around that JJF might call it after this year.
Whoa.
Which you could imagine.
Yeah.
You could imagine it.
Newborn
it
child.
Newborn
Rub on the
child.
slab tour.
One last year, get one up on Gabby and just sail off into the sunset.
Yeah, draw level with Emma. I mean, how many can you win and still really want it?
Yeah.
And surpass the last great Hawaiian AI? Yeah, that would be a real tragedy not to really get them going hammer and tongue at each other.
It's funny, isn't it? Because Medina has said, I think when he won his 3rd world title, he fully said, I just wanted to be equal with Mick. He wasn't trying to get 10 or 11 or 4. He just wanted to win the same number of world titles as Mick. And maybe this is just the universe saying, boys, just sit on that one. Sit there with the great AI. Sit there with Mick. Sit there with Tom Curran. It's a fucking pretty iconic roll call.
Fucking oath it is.
I mean, you go past 3 and it starts getting a bit weird, doesn't it? You start entering the world of the kind of...
the Lanos, the...
what was I going to call them? The... fucking hell, my brain's not connected. Too much bean, Spivvy! Too much bean!
He's gone overboard.
The idiot savant.
Oh, true. Yeah.
The rain men and women.
Yes, those who are socially inept and, where they dominate the world in ratings points, they cannot have a lucid conversation without the other person feeling like shit afterwards.
That's it. So, yeah, I don't know. How are you feeling? As a surf fan, when you saw the news, what was your sort of reaction?
Yeah, I was sad.
I mean, aside from going, he's going to pump himself into next year.
Oh, mate.
No problems for Medina
Holy
here.
shit, you want some little bumper bars. I hope those chicks are doing their Kegel squats and whatever else down there in the south of Brazil.
The pubis mons is going to be Peru, Smithy.
Oh, it's going to be a rotten eggplant. Absolutely flogged. But, look, mate, I was sad, but he hasn't really shown that early career energy in a while, Medina. I don't know if his heart's really in it. It's a sad loss. It's a massive loss, but maybe the ship is sailed on the golden years of Medina's tenure.
Yep, I reckon that.
Another serious injury. I mean, that's kind of
think about last year. He had everything to surf for, getting into that top 5, and he missed it. And there was a lot of those heats like the one at Bells where he was spitting a dummy and it just wasn't landing. He wasn't going with nature, as I like to say, Smithy. That's my mantra for 2025. Go with nature. Felt like nature was against him. And as soon as you start getting that mindset, the universe will pump you, dude. It'll bend you over and pump you.
Yeah, an old-fashioned pegging from Gaia. No one needs that.
No.
But we're all due for one at some point in our lives, especially when we go against nature. You want to be thrusting with nature. You don't want to be pushing back on nature.
No. Go with nature, Swellians. Go with nature. Anyway, let's wait and see how John responds, Smivvy.
And the replacements, according to Stab.
Oh, yeah.
The WSL representative said it all comes down to the type of withdrawal. So if Gab pulls out for the entirety of 2025, his spot would go to the number 23 on the 2024 CT. That's Semi Pupo. But, as we know, Semi's already re-qualified via the Challenger Series. So that means the additional spot would pass on to the next surfer on the Changers. That's Al Cleland Jr.
Oh!
Raw core
Mr.
division.
Mexico.
Hamad, man. I'd love to see him get a crack at the big leagues. But if Gab decides to withdraw on an event-by-event basis, the number 24 from last year's CT, Ian Gentile, would fill Medina's spot in any events that he misses. So if it's a full-on withdrawal, he just pulls the pin on the whole year, Cleland. If he kind of hangs on and goes event by event, it's Gentile.
It feels like a titty flap injury of this nature is a long heal. It's not a quick turnaround. Like, it's so common. Being a Manly fan, I'm very well versed in this injury because Tommy Turbo's fucking had about 9 of them. But, it's not a quick turnaround, man. It's a season ender. So you would think that Gabby would just pull the plug, right?
Yeah, I mean...
Because, if he doesn't make the cut, which he's not going to, are you allowed to get a wild card in the back half of the season?
I've no idea.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is where the WSL's got to draw some really firm lines here because this could turn into some kind of debacle. We've had so many wildcard debacles over the years.
Yep.
Make a good, clean call. Make it early.
Make a clean call. Let's get Al Cleland Jr. on tour. I'd love to see that.
Love to see that.
Number 4.
Vaughan, the Swellpocalypse at Jaws. A full-blown 5-day gurnathon of a bender. There was swinging jaws galore. The big dogs fucking came out and swung the rhino chasers for glory. What, mate? It is the endless kind of stream of highlights it's just the gift that keeps on giving. Just when you think you've seen it all, there emerges Kyle Enigo on switchfoot.
I know.
On a 30-foot, 40-foot left.
Is he that bored? He's got issues,
mate, and rode it perfectly.
Yeah.
Kind of made the drop, got a high line, pocket ride, fucking mind-melting shit.
Yeah, it's got to be the best Hawaiian season ever. I can't think of a more just relentless fucking series of swell, dude. It's every time you wake up in the morning, you get on there because you just got to see what's churned out next. And there it is, just another fucking bombing, detonating, gross pipe swell, a huge Jaws day. Imagine what's going on all the rest of the spots. Someone was telling us actually that they were surfing Honolulu Bay on the big day that the Eddie ran. It was 6 to 8 foot, absolutely cooking. Wouldn't even get a sniff.
Yeah, Glindo got a crazy one.
Glindo, that's who it was.
Got tangled up in one of the most comical drop-ins by, I think it was the great bodyboard legend, Jeffrey Hubbard, is it? Kind of unfortunately faded Glindo, and Glindo just came flying out the pit. They've got tangled in, I don't know if it was leg rope or Zooid, Jizz or something, but the two have come together at force, and one of the most classic mishaps you'll ever see.
It's a hell of a wipeout. Straight out of the Lennox Head playbook too. I've seen so
iconic.
many of those from last year. But yes, like we know what's going on at the marquee spots, but imagine all the other Hawaiian Islands and all the little other breaks that are just pumping, bruh.
I did see a photo of this crazy setup that apparently breaks, once every 10 or 20 years. It's like a rocky outcrop there, and the paddle out's like this. It's like kind of a Jaws on steroids-esque jump off, paddle around the bend, and there's this fucking huge rogue pits and big peaks breaking off this rocky outcrop that can fully kill ya. No water patrol. Some hardy souls out there giving that a crack. I also saw a photo of a wave that was claimed as the biggest wave ever seen in Hawaii. You see that thing? The jet ski in the foreground? It's like this doubled up, tripled up, 50-foot mutant, which is breaking on, I don't know if it's a surfable spot, but I guess there's a jet ski out there, so maybe there was some people having a sniff. But yeah, fucking wild scenes.
Pure, thick, veiny Pacific girth, Smithy. That's what's going on up there.
Oh, yeah.
And what a season. And you know what? It's been pretty remarkable, man, that the Hawaiians have dominated. Like, the Hawaiians are really just owning this Swellpocalypse over there, which is great to see. But why don't we talk about that with Oh, hang on, wait. No, have we got more Jaws stuff to talk about?
Oh, yeah. I thought
let's go. Let's dive in.
Doff the gaff to Albie Leia, who called the jet skis off on, I think it was day 3 or day 4 of the
just paddles
of the
out.
swell bender. He was basically, the kind of Babe Ruth style, pointing the bat to the bleachers, going, mate, it's going there. It's going there. Don't be out here. If the wave's breaking here, don't be there.
Yeah.
He ended up getting the one he was looking for, but sadly face planted into the trough of a fucking 60-foot cone. So psycho. Gave it a proper crack, though. Had to, if you're going to call jet skis off in that situation, it stands to reason that you're going to have to go when the fucking Black Death arises. And he did.
Yep.
Sent it.
He had a great sort of social diary going on the whole season. From the very first Jaws swell, he was going, man, day 1, feeling good, body's safe, boards are good, didn't snap any boards. Like, day 2, still going, feeling good. Like, gets to day 5 where I think the Eddie swell kicks in, and he's going, man, just so grateful. I'm on the biggest swell high. Like, I'm still looking for the one. It's coming. I know it's. And by the time he gets to this one, how much physical exertion and mental prep can you do before it starts to just start shaving away the skills, like the fucking fabric of what
reflexes,
just the senses. The senses eventually have to get a little dull, even with all that adrenaline and 100%. Knowing that day's the day after all of that surfing. Fuck, it must be hard to switch it on, man.
Yeah, it's so interesting, isn't it? You exhaust the adrenaline and serotonin and dopamine stores, and what are you left with? Just a vapid, flapping wizard sleeve. We've all been there. It's not a good feeling.
Yeah, true that.
But it's so interesting, I would love to know, and maybe it's a question we can put to him directly if we can get him on the pod at some point. What his kind of grander vision is when it comes to swells like this. Like, when does he feel like enough is enough? Is he one of those guys where, and there is many like this, I've definitely strayed in this territory too on a much smaller scale, but if the swell bender continues, I'm going to be still surfing until those waves turn off. And I just wonder, the wisdom of that, and whether he's setting himself up for an inevitable fucking fatal or near fatal injury. I know he's had a bunch of head knocks already. He was kind of on the pointy end of all that chat about the repeat head injuries and CTE and all that kind of stuff. I just wonder about the wisdom of just sacking up day in, day out over the course of 5 days of mutant, 30 up to 60, 70-foot waves. It's wild that he has the staying power.
Yeah, man. I think as he's gotten older, he seems to be tuning into that pick your moments. It's okay to say, no, I'm definitely feeling it. I'm definitely not feeling it kind of mindset. It just, that's the sort of the good thing about having these diary entry sort of social posts. If you're into it, you can kind of really feel where they're at on any given day. see it with Griffin on the tour, and you see it with Albie on these big days. It's really cool.
I had a chat, to the swelling spirit animal, the Doof Warrior Guy Brown, and he was saying that he was over there for the swell. He was saying that, like, at a certain point, as you always seem to see with these protracted swell benders, there was just windows of no one out.
Yeah, isn't that
and
mad?
Like light winds, like the most fucked up 30 to 60 foot waves you've ever seen, ruler edge on the bowl at Jaws. And like that's something that's almost unprecedented in this modern age. Just take your pick. You want one? Now's your chance. It's cool to see too. A lot of people just paddling out, who are experienced, very skilled watermen and water women, and just watching it, being a part of it, staring into the moors of 50-foot caverns. What an experience! Full credit to everyone who was a part of it. The water patrol, the fact no one died. Although Semi Yoon. He's on a weird one at the moment, isn't he? He's fucking sending it like a madman, but man, he's having some really bad injuries and mishaps. He had a bad one down there in South Oz riding, like some pretty experimental equipment at Blacks there, that desert chope style left. And again, here in Jaws, he's I'm not exactly sure the circumstances of the injury, but I think it was head injury related, maybe some dislocated shoulder or something like that as well. But yeah, nearly killed. I don't know. I hope Sammy's all right. He's a fucking full-blown mortal cone warrior.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe, like we said, it's time to search for more tranquil oceans and sit in the Lotus, maybe convene with whether it be Tom Carroll on the meditation journey or Shane Horan's minders on the psilocybin journey. But I think he's got a course correct there, Sammy. You take care of yourself, mate. Take care of the lemon spread. You only get one finicky little bit of cerebellum bobbing in marination juice. So take care. Yeah. Take care, Sammy.
Yeah. Beware inhaling or breathing in or drinking too much Zooid juice, dude. It's just, that's what happens if you get knocked out underwater. It's all going up your nose. It's all going into your lungs, Smivvy.
Deeply carcinogenic, very acidic. The Zooid juice. Watch out for that shit. Willem Banks also paddled what many are calling the biggest wave ever paddled. So that's it. That huge claim. Kelly Lord Nordstrom, the Tassie legend, and Pedro Branca, veteran. He's paddled a couple out there anyway. He got a pretty sick pit, flying the flag for the Australians. Kip Caddy over there.
Russ Bjerke was there. Got a couple.
Fuck, what a swell bender for Bjerke. Oh. It's a crazy conundrum for those guys, isn't it? To it's basically every time Jaws is on, Waimea's on, and then it crescendos where you have this choice to make. Do I just stay on this swell bender at Jaws like Albie, or do I go back and surf the eddy like Russ? And how do you kind of manage the energy stores? And fuck,
pretty wild.
It's wild the lifestyle those guys lead.
It is wild, and I think I don't know if we gave Russ a doff in our Eddie rap, but he went mad, and he got a couple of big, steep and deep ones. Smivvy, love seeing 80s fantasy movie warlock skullets charging at the bay. It makes me real happy, mate.
Absolutely.
Well played.
With the receiver off the hook, dial the desired number. That tone indicates everything is ready for your call.
Pretty crazy. It seemed like you managed to scoop straight into a tube. That must have been surreal to rock up with no board, no help, make your way out there. And I don't know if that happened in the first session or second or whatever, but to knife into one and pack the West Bowl like that, or the End Bowl, whatever direction that is. Yeah, the West Bowl. Fuck, man. Talk us through that wave and what that felt like. You must have been absolutely over the moon with that effort.
Yeah, mate. I think, for me, that was kind of my goal. I just really wanted to find, a hollow one. I guess it's hard. You obviously see all the waves the local boys get and what everyone else gets out there, and all you want is, something crazy like that. But you don't realise how freaking hard it is and how unmanageable it really is. But that board I was riding too was huge. It was 10.4 and 5 inches thick. So
wow.
When I paddled out there, I was thinking, all right, this board's probably going to be sick for when it gets big, but might not be the board for the job for knifing into some pits. So yeah, I think that pit was on day 2. And it was just, yeah, I think that's that mental battle you got to have with like paddling deep up, because it's just like any other big wave where the deeper you go, the more chance you are of getting scuttled by the sets. But that's where you got to be to get those ones that are hollow like that. So I was pretty stoked. I just managed to find one. It's also a battle with the crowd too. You don't want to be pushing the envelope too much. Everyone's pretty good out there. It's a good vibe. And yeah, if you're in the spot and you got your head down, everyone sort of respects that, which is epic. Yeah, everyone's like got each other's backs out there, which is sick. So managed to make my way inside, got deep, saw one with that bowl sort of bending around. I guess they call it the West Bowl. And yeah, pulled up, managed to get that board off the bottom, thank God, as I got down the bottom, and pulled up into it and knew I was probably too deep. End up getting pretty launched by the foam ball. My vest just went off without me actually pulling it 2 canisters. just boom, straight away. As soon as the foam ball hit me, I think I just got launched up into the roof. And then, yeah, vest just like went. It was the biggest I've ever had my vest blow out. That's for sure. It's pretty funny.
How hard is it to get one of those things off the bottom and into a bottom turn and pack something like that? A 10-4, was it 5 inches thick?
Yeah. Oh, that was, and I knew that was always going to be my biggest challenge because I don't really ride big boards either. Like, we don't have, big board waves at home. We just go in Oz as much. Like, we just got slabs everywhere. So I've only ever really ridden a big board, like down at Pedra, and then sort of brought one for Fiji. But it's always just a learning curve just riding big boards for me as well. So that you just have to, I guess, as you're paddling in, you already got to decide, like, set your line as you're paddling in. There's no freaking throwing those things around.
Yeah. And in terms of, what you saw over the coming days, like, can you try and paint the picture for us of what it's like to sit in that lineup? You mentioned you're playing the kind of game of chicken there, and you end up almost wearing one of the biggest waves I've ever seen on the head. You're immortalised in the shoulder of it in one of the great photographs that emerged from that swell. So crazy that it was you, Nord Lord, to really kind of capture what I thought was the feeling of that entire swell bender, which is like a feeling of pure fear and euphoria mixed in one. Talk us through what unfolded there and just what it was like to be in that kind of energy.
Oh, mate, like, that's what I was so stoked just to simply be there, like, to see that swell and, like, be a part of it, let alone just get a couple of waves. But, yeah, like, that was crazy to see waves that big but just get bigger and bigger each day for 4 days. Like, the energy in the ocean as well, and also the friggin', I guess, the scene of Jaws. Like, it's so hectic. Like, rock up the car park, there's these huge pits, still like 30 people in the lineup, an actual helicopter buzzing around above head all day. Like, the sound of the chopper makes it feel like I don't know what type of scene. Like, boats everywhere, 30 skis. And yeah, it's like, I don't know, I guess, I don't know how it's like stadium almost, you know what I mean? Like, you go to a footy game or something, everything's loud. Like, that's what it's like, I feel like. And then out in the water, that last 2 days we had, like, to feel the energy, especially even like the Saturday morning, the morning we paddled out, it was probably just as tall as the Sunday, but just not as thick. And, like, some huge sets came through that morning. Like, I think you would have seen the shot of Russ's one that he got that morning. We got a couple as well. Like, they were still, like, so big, but, like, just turning around, like, scratching over those and then seeing it looked like that was just, like, ripping up the reef, like, as they landed. Like, the detonation behind those waves was fucking mental. Like, I always had a picture in my head that Jaws was sort of, a bit more flappy, not as slabby, but come Sunday, like, it was, like, as tall as Saturday, but, like, thick. and starting to slab. I was like, oh wow, like this is actually hollow and huge.
And in terms of that particular wave that almost caught you, like, how did that play out?
All right, so the funny thing is with that one, I think that photo, there was 2 sets. There was 2 that were like that. So we'd sort of played cat and mouse for the morning and the Sunday. I think like a couple of us had like sort of like 1 wave each. Albie had like a few. He went ballistic. And then he got that one where he went real deep on, pretty much got lipped, got fucking smoked.
Yeah, where were you for that?
And I was literally just turned around, had looked up at him, and he was just like under the hood, and I just had to scratch up over that. And where he took off was so skit. So I remember thinking like, wow, he's deep. Like he's like 2 sections behind it. It had like a wobble in it where it was almost like he was another section behind the horseshoe. I was like, oh my God, that looks like a death sentence. I remember it, like I thought he was going to be airdropping down it too, where I was paddling over that. But
holy shit, that is crazy, man.
It was hats off, and it was sick. It was so sick to see like Albie doing that. Like I love seeing that shit. Like a local at his home break just going ballistic and showing everyone how it's done. Like it was cool to see that. Like,
mate, it's
a
fucking. I can't imagine the image that is in your head of a dude hucking it, spinning under the lip on a 60-foot closeout.
Yeah, man.
Fuck, howling offshore.
Okay, is that? I was like, and that's what I was thinking the day before on the Saturday. Like, I was like, I paddled out and I'm sitting there next to Russ and Albie, like some of the boys, the big dogs that always inspire us, the rest of us, frothers in the world. These guys take everything to the next level. And I was sitting there, I was thinking like, I wonder if this is big or not, like, or is this just like what it's usually like? And then this set came through and we paddled over it, and then Albie and Russ looked at each other and they go, I think that's the biggest wave we've paddled over at Jaws. I was like, sweet, yeah, it's pretty big then. And then just like for it to get even bigger the next day, and then Albie to be doing that stuff, like he was going pretty freaking mental. So he snapped his board and got pretty lit up on that one. Russ had his wave in the morning and was playing it safe. He was in the channel after that as well. He had the Eddie the next day, and like the cat and mouse game was just getting pretty gnarly. And I think myself, like local guy, Ty, a few other Hawaiian lads were still out there, and a few of us hadn't even had a wave. I managed to get one that morning that was like flappy, and then those bomb sets like came through, and I remember scratching that first set that came through. I'm pretty sure is that shot where I make it over that one, like where I'm just in the lip on a huge one. But it was the next set. I remember darting back in and going, all right, I've got to get one more wave before I go in. Like, just have to scratch. And I went way far in to make sure I get one. And then nothing came, and turned around. There was like an even bigger set than that first one. And I just had to paddle for the absolute heels. And everyone asked me, like, what was it like looking into that thing? I was like, mate, I did not look at that wave once. I was looking at the nose of my board, my head down, just paddling as hard as I fucking could the whole time until I got over it.
Oh my God, that is sickening. How sick in the guts did you feel?
Oh, and then so that wave like dragged me back. Like I was like, I swear, I don't know, like so close to going over with the lip with it. It managed to just drag me back. I didn't do the full go over the lip. It just dragged me like, I don't know, like 100 meters back, and then on top of a boil. And then from there, luckily there wasn't one as big as it behind it, but I just had to scratch like horizontal straight to the channel. Managed to get out of the way of another one. And then by the time I got to the channel, it was just Albie and Ollie sitting there on the ski, and Albie goes, it's done, bruh. That cat and mouse game's too gnarly now. And that was when they called it. Like all the rest of the paddlers, everyone paddled in, and then the tow team started, and it was just like, you just feel the energy of the ocean was just getting like bigger and bigger and bigger, and those sets were just coming in more and more consistent. It was just starting to get so rogue, and the rest of the day like unfolded. Like the tow teams went skits for the rest of the day, and it was, I don't know, I just never seen waves that big moving that fast as well. Like even the tow boys, like they were struggling to keep up with the waves. So like they'd, whip in, and if it started barreling, they just had to absolutely pin it like across the wave face to even get to the channel on a lot of these waves. Like it was tripping me out.
Number 3.
The Backdoor Shootout rinse corn. It wrapped yesterday with a victory, a well-earned victory to Team Japan. Arigato gozaimasu.
Gozaimasu. So sick.
Oh, so sick.
So, like, inevitable.
It is.
Overdue, kind of.
They've been threatening for years.
It has been. Some of the waves of the winter in the past, 10 years have easily been surfed by Japanese.
In that event.
That's right. Yeah,
Kato Matsuoka's.
That's the one.
I think it was the perfect 12 or perfect 20 maybe back then. But
still stands up as one of the most heinous, like, late airdrops.
Yep.
And clutch rip under the guillotine ever.
It's a full, like, human lawn dart into the barnacles, but just pulls it out at the depth.
It's true.
And,
but
gets the railing.
What about this team? Just, like, how much just grooviness was in this team. Like, full stand talls, just watching the roof of the pipe pit as he's just cruising through. Mate. Give us some of the names there, Smitty.
I think that was, let me have a look. I'm pretty sure that was Rico Matsuoka. I don't know if he's a relation, maybe, to the great Kato. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah, so, might be a relation. I don't know. Same last name. Last year as well, we had the Daiki brothers, a couple of 16-year-old Groms who fucking sent it on that maxed out day that nearly killed Kala Grace. Shogo Harada, he was the lanky string bean natural footer who got a couple of fucking crazy ones, including the one on the final day of that big psycho pump.
Yeah.
That pump was so crazy. He used every last sinew in his 6'3" ramen noodle frame to fucking just huck that thing. And mate, credit to him because he ended up getting the big section, but then another bonus section. He was going light speed.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rico's stand tall was crazy. That was one of the most bizarre tubes. You kind of thought he was just posing for the shot, knowing it was a closeout.
Yeah.
But, Mother Pipeline said, nah,
yeah,
you've
well,
already done your Machado stand tall closeout thing. I'm going to give you the gust of life, little tickle of Zooid on the corn, pushed him out.
Yeah. And
incredible, mate.
And just tapping in to primetime Jelly Lopez, mate. Big time Jelly Lopez. Just a doff to the king who lived on the house.
Jelly Lopez. So good.
Oh, mate, yeah. And straight to Shitty Walk for a fucking big feed afterwards.
I think the tone, though, was really set by Shinpei on day one, which, day one was fucked up. That was as heavy as pipe gets. You heard him saying it, your Cole Rothmans, your Nate Florence's. 7 feet at 20 seconds. Such an interesting metric or like kind of set of numbers for pipe, the magic numbers as it were, because not big enough to cap on second reef, and those pulled back drone shots just showed lines of corduroy stacked to the horizon, but it was the water tension, everything was pulled so taut and it was coming in and it had that kind of almost cloud break-esque like roping true to the ledge thing, but it was so doubled up. There was no entry points. It was brutal first reap pipeline and Shinpei attempt to fucking knife that one and resulted in one of the great wipeouts of the last 10 years, I'm calling that pipeline. He did so well. This guy's an ancient relic of the Wakita era. And those Japanese guys, like from that kind of Wakita era and even prior to that, up until the present, they've just gone about their business ritualistically sacrificing at the altar there at Pipeline. And this was a classic example that mate did everything right, got the knife in, but just the 20-second periods forced him into kind of a late adjustment. He tried to ride out, go straight, and the thing just landed on all 7 of his chakras at once.
Compressed them into one chakra. He just dematerialized and went to the next realm.
pure human Anagi roll there.
That was as good a guillotine straight to the back of the noggin as you can possibly imagine. Old school. And actually, I saw someone, I don't know who it was, but someone posted a great wipeout that was kind of similar of a female bodyboarder out there years ago. Did you cop that one?
Oh my God, the double scorpion.
The Hoi bounce double scorpion inverted upside down flip.
Yeah, and Shinpei did have a bit of that about it, didn't it?
It did.
He got flexed and then went over again in the wall of the wave. It's pipes. It's peerless in its ability to do that, the double bounce.
Think about the double bounces that you've suffered in your own life surfing career. Like, you're never on waves of truly mortal consequence. Often, I don't know about you, Smiv, but like I'll be kind of straightening out and not quite getting far enough away from the impact zone. And it'll be like, maybe 4 or 5 foot if it's a big wave. And you get pulverized, bro. You get so done in by that energy of just complete shutdown that it's shocking. Like you can find yourself pissing yourself laughing as you're just getting ragdolled along the ocean floor.
Yeah.
Just going, what the fuck? Like, how did that happen? But at Pipe, man, oh man, the G-forces, it must be like having a comet land on you.
Yeah, it's got a hint of
an asteroid, just a dinosaur-ending fucking asteroid.
Pretty much. And it's got a hint of the kind of weightless white noise of a 5 MEOD Sonoran desert toad Jizz.
It does.
Journey, where you just kind of, you don't know if you've died, you're weightless, there's just nothing but white in your eyelids. And there's like, this full ego death, like, well, how foolish I am, I know nothing, what was I thinking? I'm 45 years old, I'm Japanese, I'm running a restaurant back in the Chiba prefecture, should I be sending it at the Backdoor Shootout, all those kind of thoughts, and then you come good, and you're like, oh, I'm sweet. Deeply humbled, yes. Bit sweet. And then he goes out and gets a couple of backdoor and pipe nugs on you, Shinpei.
Oh, well played, Shinpei.
Fucking well played indeed.
Is that the same breed of dog that has the super saggy skin? Pretty sure they're called Shinpei.
Yeah, pretty sure they were named after the great Shinpei Tube Warrior.
That's what happened to his skeleton. It got completely pulverized, but his skin was still there, so he just looked like a saggy, wet dog.
Yeah, and they just got the pegs on the back of his head, pulled it all back, sent him straight back out there, put the gaff on top of the pegs, and he was sweet. But, a few other highlights, mate. Like, it's heavy when Nate Florence can't get into a wave out there. He's pin dropping out of lips. Parker Coffin got this fucking crazy double up. It was actually one of the few... It was a bit of a glitch cone, It had like this kind of little chip. It reminded me of Voodoo a little bit, I guess, where there's like a little boil to get in on, and then he just kind of put the pie in the oven and watched this thing just chamber off in front of him. He then packed a fucking ultra square one, snapped his board, nearly died moments later.
Shit.
It was just... It was as perfect as you'll ever see Pipe, but deadly perfect. Jamie O'Brien pulling back on wave of the winter kind of shit, just because like there's no entry. It's an amazing wave, but I've never seen it like that, where it's that true to the ledge, where the metrics match up that perfectly with the maximum capacity that Pipe First Reef can hold. And really not, despite the perfect nature, it was Banzai-like, but... Banzai is the name they give to it when it's like it's been so manicured by the hand of God that it's just a fucking not a drop out of place. It had that appearance, and yet was almost unsurfable at times. So many empties going through. Yeah. Fucking insane.
Yeah, it had a whiff of that swell that did Owen in duck diving and the Ev Geiselman wipeout, where Andre Botha pulled him out of the Shorey, the churning Shorey unconscious. Had that same sort of just death energy about it. Incredible that so many crew got fucking the waves they got. And none better than Carl Rothman, man.
He got a crazy double up. He was on fire all event long.
Perfectly in tune with what was going down with that swell. Perfectly. It was sick. And that really capped off a pretty memorable winter for Core Lord Hawaiian Energy getting the job done. Landon McNamara taking out the... Eddie, obviously, and then Nate Florence getting the Pipe Masters victory.
Yeah, they've dominated.
So, what does this mean for the CT? I mean, is the WSL going to turn up and just get that weird sort of day after the swell, murky water. There's all that brown froth just lurking around.
Zooid
Just
jizz
jizz everywhere. Or are we going to see one of the all-time great Bong Pipe Pro comps? If we do, Smivvy, you'd almost bet the house on a Hawaiian taking it out just the way things have been going.
Yeah,
They're
Baron
on, mate.
Put on a real display of, like, I think Baron had a kind of more waves, like more makes, more hollow ones than anyone else in the event. Didn't have the consequence of Cole Rothman, but he'd be a special to take the Pipe Pro out. And yeah, mate, you hope the bong is just packed, locked and loaded and ready for a full-blown romper.
Oh, yeah.
When the Pipe Pro comes around pretty soon. But yeah, mate, I think just to touch on a couple of the other crazy things that we saw from the Backdoor Shootout. Day 2, 18 feet at 17 seconds, and they sent him out there, the maniacs. It was fucking humongous second reef pipe. Yarla Stewart was the MVP that day. He's got that kind of second reef roll in fully dialed. Got one of the waves of the winter early on in the winter. Cleanup sets galore. There was the whole lineup just getting rolled by cleanup sets, washed onto the inside. Ivan Florence, though, he was a real standout on day 2s and day 2 and day 3. He does have shades of the Jerry Lopez line. Like, he never really looks pressed or flexed out there. He's just picking, not nice ones. There's definitely a bit of teeth in him, but he's just doing it so casually. He doesn't have the kind of hell for leather approach of a Jamie O'Brien, let's say a Cole Rothman, Parker Coffin. Everything's so measured and dreamy.
I love Ivan's approach. Earlier in the pipe comp, he just has this sort of like, he has this shimmy that no one else sort of has. There's like a dance element to it, but like a little cheeky nightclub dance just as the ping is kicking in. Not when you're fully gurning, but just as it's kicking in, you start nodding your head, looking at the boys like, here we go, it's coming on. Hey, he never quite gets to that full like just gurn.
Yeah.
But he's definitely got, it's coming up, it's there.
Agreed. But on finals day, mate, J.O.B., he'd been threatening all event long. He had a couple of crazy ones on the heavy, like, first day, but couldn't really get deep in them. But some of the drops were fucking death-defying, Evil Knievel shit. And he finally put it all together for one wave on the final day. You thought he was like jumping from the top rope, Melanesian yam farmer style for a self-sacrifice, an old-fashioned self-sacrifice. But he managed to like ride the little side slip at the top of a fucking 10-foot pipe Widowmaker and side slip down the face and get the rail in for a foam ball. It's just like the craziest, most theatrical, deadly pit. I don't know if it maxed out the scale or it surpassed Rico Matsuoka's one, but it was definitely there and thereabouts for wave of the event for mine. But yeah, couldn't go past Cole Rothman for pure consistency. He got a psycho one on the final day, just a huge first reef TP, perfectly positioned, knifed into it, super deep, right on the foam ball. And just got the full NOS blast up the corn for the make. Incredible event. But Vaughan, a backdoor shootout run by the great fast Eddie Uncle Eddie Rothman wouldn't be complete without an iconic sign-off like this. The boys, the guys, they used the final of the event as a platform to not call a single wave despite the fact it was absolutely firing and instead go on this plutonium-grade rant against the man, the fat white man and his bloated bureaucracy. And I, for one, doff the gaff to this.
How's it, everyone? I'd like to first start out with, we like to give aloha and our heart feelings to all those that just had their houses all burnt in the mainland there, and we feel for you, just like the Maui folks. And I'm just here to say this community does nothing for us. They've always been against us. Every time we went to go get a permit, they fight us. Each director there was took it away. We just lost our permit this year from a lady named Laura Thieland.
With this
she put on the application
make sounds that
to
nobody
circumvent us binaries, trans vegetables, whatever they are, and how many girls. Hey, this is our contest. You don't tell us what to do. Who you? And she made like these rules were done by the city. And when David here met with the mayor and his managing director, they knew nothing about what she did. She's an extension of this community that hates us. Every time we had a park to have our meetings in, they got rid of us. Signed letters. But when they needed us, when Obayashi was going to develop, bring the hui because they're bringing the union guys, it intimidated all the white guys that couldn't even fight. So they brought us, and we kicked back, and we got things done. And when it come time to make the food and stuff for the events, we did it. We started the Eddie Aikau contest. I know, nobody likes to hear that. Me and Pops Aikau started it. And not once have I, myself, been invited to a meeting about it in all these years. We started the Backdoor Shootout because every time they came over here to do their contest, they invite everybody from around the world and maybe 2 local guys. That's it. We got tired of it. Our guys sitting on the beach. Well, it changed, but it wasn't easy, and it's still to this day not. Every time we go to get our permit, they buck us. We were number 4. It's in this contest is dedicated to Dukahanamoku. You think they give a rat's ass about it? No, not even. They still don't want us. There's too many brown people for them. And I tell you what, I'm white, but they don't like me either. This place, this community here of Sunset Beach is not friendly to the local people. There's maybe 5 families, Ahui, Ho'opili, what the other ones?
Yeah, that couple other ones,
Other ones,
Well, you're supposed to write them down. What's the name? Kalulus. Vaivioles. There's not many. And everything, they got the Sunset Beach Board Association, whatever they call themselves. Frank Foster, Hawaiian. They put a lien against his house because he had in his yard a little stand for Thai food and another little stand for coffee called the shack. What do they call that thing? Sunrise Shack. They couldn't stand it. They got all the tables and chairs taken out of the Sunrise Shack and put a lien. I believe, I would hate to think it was Blake McElhaney who put the lien against Foster's house. A Hawaiian, making a little cash, few $1,000s a month. And they got the Thai wagon gonged out of there because you can't do this. They whined about every freaking thing on the North Shore. You can't do this. You can't do that. Who are you people? Where the hell do you come from? I'd sure like to send you back, and not nicely. And that's, if I offended anybody, good. I don't care. This place that we live in out here is a fight for us to do this contest every year. We started this thing, and they hate it. They hate it. And they're always trying to take our permit. Always, for any kind of reason. I mean, go figure. Did I leave anything out?
No.
Okay, well, I'd like to say aloha to all you folks out there in the world and to this community association that's always trying to get rid of the local people. I guess it's not edited, huh?
Yeah, this is live, Eddie. Yeah,
oh,
pretty
well.
live.
Hey,
That's
this is
right.
just sign language.
Yeah.
It's just my fingers are a little broken, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you folks have a good time out there. And like I said, aloha to all the families out there that are in trouble and goods are being sent to you. And, we just got to get rid of people like our Governor Green. What a clown. Hey, clown. C-L-O-O-W, and I don't spell good. That's a clown. We got clowns here. And it's time to change this place. It's time to change Hawaii. Get the local people coming back, not exiting every day because they can't pay $5,000 rent every month. Anyway, if I sound bitter or nasty, good. Okay. I'd like to say aloha, though, to all those nice people out there. See you, folks. Thanks for letting us come up here. And aloha. And our contest is a success again, and they hate that. They just hate it. And you think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. The president of the association signed this letter, how disgusting it was to have us over there. Then we moved to VLAN. And, okay, the city or whatever, they're okay. We started cleaning it up, making it nice for years, and they kick us out of there, too. Everywhere we've been, the first place down by the bungalows down there, they kick us out. Right. They do not like the local people here on the North Shore, and especially in Hawaii. You know, it's like, they call a cop, get the phone, do this, do that. You know, they got no respect. None. Zero. And we got none for you. I want you to know that. We don't like you. More than you don't like us, probably. Anyway, have a good time.
You'd hate to think that the same person that tried to change that was the person who actually denied us the permit to get there.
Human incompetence.
Yeah.
Oh, and when we did win our court case before, I think it was Mayor Harris. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Mayor Harris came out and took our permit anyway. You know, that's how it is here.
Number 2.
The biggest wave ever surfed for, and there was a couple of them on that swell. Benny Sanchez at Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
Benny's bomb. Let's get to that one first. And then there was Alo Slabir, the suitably named Slab-E at Mavericks. But Benny's bomb first. Yeah, look, an absolute fucking monolith, like a skyscraper of offshore fans. Death coming for the back of your neck. That said, like, I am kind of a bit numb to this. I don't know how they judge the biggest wave. It feels like I've seen stuff like this before. I didn't feel a whole lot watching it. Like, Albie Layer chipped in on the comments where it was asked, I think, by the WCL.
No, mate.
Yeah. Like, is this the biggest wave ever surfed? He said probably, but like my attempt, it's incomplete because he got mowed.
Just making sure that no one's getting awards when the precedent has been set. Love that, Albie. Well played.
Yeah, well played.
Live fast, die old.
Yeah, what did you make of Benny's bomb? And what's Benny Sanchez's story?
Well, he's French. He's had a few pretty monstro cracks at winning biggest wave ever surfed. I think back in 2014, he got one at Nazare,
of course,
which was officially measured by the powers that be. Whoever measures these things, I don't know.
The Irishman of the Guinness Book of Records.
The Irishman with a Guinness in one hand and a monocle in the other.
Yeah, and that weird old ancient scale system.
With his abacus and all that. It measured at apparently 108 foot. This is back in 2014, but because he didn't make it, no prize for you. No world record. No mention again in the history. But you think back to like waves that have sort of held this mantle. Garrett McNamara's one at Nazare. Like Nazare's had probably the most. The German fella.
Sebastian
Studner. It looks like Studner's getting his record completely wiped off by either Benny Sanchez or Alo here. But yeah, man, Benny's just a full-blown committed charger. He just grew up around Hossegor or Capricorn or in that little zone, I'm pretty sure. Was doing the whole Euro pro surfer thing and then just went hard at big wave surfing. And when you look at his sort of hit list, he's got Code Red barrels, he's got Mavericks barrels, he's got Piahi barrels.
Question is,
he's got them all. He's got them every big wave, and he's off and on one of the biggest sets that's ever broken there. So
has he paddled any of them?
Yeah, I think he paddles here and there, but I think he's pretty much committed to the toe.
Yeah, big wave toe surfing. It is the refuge of the failed WQS European Tour competitor, isn't it? All too often. Full respect.
Yeah.
Full respect, but and you know, it's long been a place for guys who never could crack it at the elite level, weren't really willing to go large in the paddle arena either, because again, that takes like a pure skill set.
Yeah, it's a funny one. You're right. It's like when I was looking at the comments on Alo Slabir's wave, Mavericks Loke Dog, Northern California, been surfer of the year out there many, many times when you go through his sort of stats and figure out who he is and where he comes from. He had everyone chirping. He had, fucking Kai Lenny going, that's a 100-foot wave. He had Carl Rothman going, nah, man, that's 200 foot. Poor old Benny Sanchez didn't even get to enjoy his fucking biggest wave ever surfed for more than 12 hours before it started, traveling across the Pacific. pouring into Half Moon Bay and just rearing up like the meaty, girthy sea cock that it was.
And he didn't really get the backing of the Hawaiian greats either. First comment on the thread, next! From
Yeah,
Albileia.
like, so on the Aloe ones, he had everyone sort of like throwing in comments and whatnot, but I noticed that on Benny's one, there was kind of crickets. It's trippy, because like to me, they're comparable waves. They're fucking so enormous. They're so tall. Like, you're right. It's hard to sort of get into the where does this sit in the big picture kind of thing. But I did find the Mavericks one pretty striking. Hey, like it caught me off guard just how huge it looked to me, just to the naked eye on the scroll. Don't know if that's just because it was darker and had that real fucking filthy, gross element to it.
Look, it just doesn't seem like there's all that much risk to. There's not enough drama for me getting into the wave. Like they just kind of smoothly roll in over this fat shoulder and then into a pocket ride of a fucking 80-foot wave, let's say 70-foot wave. But there's a lack of drama. There's like this split second of risk in there where you kind of fade deep and get into the pocket. I did like Alou Slabir's wave better. It was maybe a touch smaller, but I just like the line better. He fades, he compresses really nicely, gets this smooth bottom turn up into a proper pocket ride, gets the make. It was a really beautifully surfed wave as opposed to Benny's one where he just kind of gets whipped in, goes to the bottom, tries to get around it and gets atomized. Yeah. So maybe that's why the purists were doffing the gaff to Alou.
Yep.
Just because...
What was I call him? Aloe.
I
don't know. Anyway, both incredible waves. Like, just take the surfer off them.
Yeah.
Far out, Smivy. What beast, man. What crazy
totally
chunks of energy. Just so mind-boggling.
So groomed. So true to the reef.
Not both waves. Beautiful.
Perfect storm shit. And cool that people are out there surfing those because there's no other way to surf them. So let's not forget that in our critique of this, that like they'd just be empties if it wasn't for the brave souls, Benny Sanchez and Alou Slabir.
Yeah, I want to doff the cap to both those guys. I thought they you got to be out there. You got to be wanting it. It's that neither of those waves, to my knowledge or experience, are paddleable yet. So... Fuck, someone might as well ride them. And they did.
Imagine the amount of DECA and peptides and testosterone replacement therapy and fuck knows what else you'd have to be on to get yourself into one of them. But I, for one and for it, I'd love to see some, test tube baby, like maybe get the sprog of Laird and Bethany Hamilton and mix it together in a test tube and dump it into a petri dish and put it in a cauldron of ayahuasca juice and Zooid Jizz and whatever else, and just cook up some Universal Soldier, just get him jacked on whatever fucking supplements we've got and just get him out into a wave like that. Obviously, they're going to have to be a little bit brain dead, but, we can do that. We can, just keep them locked in a basement on a diet of fish heads and whatnot, and completely abused and hated their whole life, so they don't know their asshole from breakfast, and just go, here's your little chance, mate. Go on.
Have a crack, Al.
Have a crack.
Have a crack.
You mutineer goes, my precious.
You get the feeling that at some point in the next 10 years, it's going to be Kai Lenny and he's going to do something pretty fucking mad on the biggest wave that ever breaks. So just going goofy and left at Piahi is just madness to me. He's the guy pushing. Him and Lucas Chumbo are the guys like going, okay, yeah, we can roll into this thing. We can kind of survive it out to the channel. But these guys are properly surfing them. So maybe that's the future. But crickets for old Sebastian Student, mate. Crickets. He might be saying farewell, sayonara, world record.
Just a footnote in history, nothing but a smelly asterisk.
Number 1.
On the LA fires are still ablaze. I think they've had a second wind, so to speak, and it's on for young and old over there. There's been core lords galore getting their shit torched, not to mention a bunch of working class battlers all around that kind of Southern California zone, just losing everything. It's fucking awful. Don't know what to make of it all. who to blame. There's been, talk of the privatisation of water, like reservoirs that have been empty for years. The firemen strung out without the resources to fight these things. I mean, fucking hell, in a country like America where you've got a state like California, which I'm pretty sure is like the wealthiest and most well-resourced state in the land, the biggest and like the biggest economy, I should say. But yeah, how this can be allowed to happen is fucking wild. And we've lost among the many cribs, Gidget, the Gidget.
Yeah. The OG, the inspiration for the book. Lost everything. Oh, man, it's incredible. I mean, like, we live with this every few years. It feels like we're going through a disaster of insane magnitude, but the population affected by this is mind-boggling. It does make you fear for the future of, all our US mates and friends when, it's not like that area is on the lower socio-economic. Like, there's a lot of reason for people to get up and defend that space, and if they're getting torched, fuck, man, like, where is the 1% of all the resources going to prevent this from happening? Well, it's pretty clear, isn't it? Billionaires, bro.
Super yachts that are just bobbing off the coast, one of which
empty
sailed into San Diego at a chance of kill the rich.
Yeah.
Far out, man. You just wonder what can be done to prevent this happening in the future. And you also wonder what it's actually been like on the ground. And I think we're about to hear.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk to James Willow, who is, really good mates with Nutty Walker, Paul Fisher. He gets around, great surfer, and he lost his house in the Palisades fire. So let's have a chat to him now. Rum McCabe, thanks so much for joining us, man.
G'day, Vaughn. It's always nice to hear your voice.
Nice to see yours too, man.
Heard it, I don't think I've heard it firsthand since last New Year's Eve when we were sharing a beer over in Byron Bay, which was awesome.
A lot more relaxed than this New Year's, man.
Yeah, I know. It's been crazy, man. Like, my partner and I came back from a extremely relaxing holiday in Costa Rica for a couple of weeks, and within a day, LA was up in flames, and mainly at the time the Palisades, which is really close to where I am actually, and it was unbelievable. Like, I dropped May, my girlfriend, off at the airport earlier on that Tuesday morning, and then by like 11:30 there was like puffs of smoke coming out of the Santa Monica Mountains just behind the Palisades, and you can see that from my place in Santa Monica. And the fires grow so quickly here because of the dryness of the brushland in those mountains. And we had maybe your Australian listeners won't know what this is, but we have these things called the Santa Ana winds, which are a really, really strong offshore wind that just blows off really dry land and usually out into the ocean. And when there's not a fire, like, it's usually great for the surf. It's like offshore winds, really smooth, great conditions. But these ones were gale force, like unbelievable. Like, I think the news said it was like a Category 2 cyclone kind of wind. And this small brush fire that started off in the Pacific Palisades just grew so quickly, and we're rushing down the mountains into like a pretty densely populated area of LA, the Palisades. Some beautiful homes up there, some like fantastic kind of old mid-century modern homes, and some great cottages and whatnot, and it's a really family-orientated area. And the fires just raced through that, and just were burning up property after property. It was so crazy to see, and I didn't realize how close it was to the PCH, but it was kind of scary because I was really close, and I wanted to see like how fast it was moving. And so I rode my push bike down onto the footpath on the PCH, and rode north towards the Bel Air Bay Club, which Bel Air Beach Club, which is basically the furthest you can go north along the footpath before you kind of have to go onto the actual PCH. And the smoke was bellowing up into the air, just like insane, like consuming the entire sky. It was just black almost with smoke. And I was in the car park. There weren't many people down there besides like hundreds of fire engines and police. It was a hectic scene, like nothing I'd ever seen before. And just at the bottom of Pacific Palisades, there's this beautiful old I guess it's like we'd probably call it a caravan park, but it's like a RV kind of park right on the beach there. And I saw these smoke and flames kind of just rush down this small little canyon, and I was like, oh my God, this is so insane. This is getting really close, and because of those really strong Santa Ana winds that I was just mentioning, it just raced down there with such speed. Within literally like 5 minutes, the flames had come from where I couldn't even see them on the ridgeline to jumping across the PCH and engulfing these palm trees on the beach at Will Rogers State Beach there. And it was just like for about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, I was stuck between these two fires on the PCH, and the police officer raced through in his car and was like, "Hey, you need to get out of this location. Like it's getting really dangerous and really unruly." And so I had to ride my bike back through these like flying ambers going everywhere. It was terrifying. And also I felt insanely stupid for being there as well, because it was a really dangerous situation that I wasn't really aware of how full on it was going to be. And then like the next day I came back and that whole area was completely torched. Like you've probably seen the millions of images online of like that whole area along the PCH, like burnt to the ground. It was absolutely devastating. It was like a bomb had been dropped and left nothing.
Yeah,
it was really traumatic.
Yeah, the scale of just what of this wipeout basically is so hard to get your head around. Like, I guess the images that really kind of stayed with me as it was unfolding were those sort of like almost satellite images or shots from planes where they show the actual grids of the communities and they're just completely black or red. Like there's nothing else going on there. There's no hope for almost any good news coming out of that entire zone. Everything leveled. The wind was so shocking. So like your photos, I think, mate, were kind of like when I realized that it was really going to a different place. And like that's for Australians who grow up with bushfire seasons, we've lived through some pretty brutal tragedies in the past few years. Yeah, how was that? I mean, you just said then you didn't even, you didn't even realize that within 2 minutes the whole place was just lit up. What's the deal? How are people holding up over there?
It's a real mixed bag of emotions. Like there's absolute devastation, there's sadness, there's anger, there's hurt. But I think the most astounding thing about this, besides like the widespread devastation, how horrific that is, the thing that I have really taken away from this is a country that prior to this is really divisive, especially post the election. That everyone has come together in such a way that is so heartwarming and beautiful to see that no matter what our differences are, when there is a real issue at stake, that we all come together and we help each other, whether it's the smallest little thing, whether it's like giving someone a hug or like a phone call to just ask how they are, or massive feats of like fundraising and trying to clear properties so people can start rebuilding. Like I think that's for me is the thing to take away the most from this situation is how much we can come together when needed and when when we really feel the desire to help our neighbours. Like we're really there for one another, which is really beautiful.
Mate, we saw that exact same thing after the floods up here that just completely inundated Lismore. Put people's lives at risk. They lost everything as well, and it was in that post-COVID kind of paranoid, angry time, and people just left all that shit behind and rolled up the sleeves, man. They got busy in the initial stages of search and rescue, and then they got even busier, when the rebuild or the cleanup and then the rebuild had to happen. And it filled you with like a sense of humanity and goodness and brotherhood. That's really the silver lining.
Yeah, for sure. And I think LA particularly, like no other city that I've ever lived in is quite isolating at times because of sometimes the lack of community aspect of it. Like everywhere you have to get in the car to drive everywhere. So everywhere is you're very considered about what you're doing. You drive somewhere, you get something done, you jump in the car and drive home. Whereas let's say if you're living in Bondi or in Sydney, there's a lot of you're walking a lot of places, so you run into people and you have much more of a human connection. And so for here, a city that does feel really isolated at times, like when this disaster happens, like it feels like there's such a fantastic community. So there's a feeling that for me that like sometimes it's just you just need to reach out to find that community, and when you really do need someone or need help, there's a lot of people there for you, which is something that I think everyone kind of needs to know on the occasion.
Yeah, I agree, man. And how can people help?
Yeah, good question. So the fires, from my knowledge, are almost all out. Like I do know there's like certain little hot spots that are getting put out. And we're talking about like 8 days on from the beginning. So we started last Tuesday at 11:30, and it's Wednesday night at 7 or almost 8 p.m. So it's like a little bit over a week in, and they're still putting out little spot fires. Nothing that, from my knowledge, that is concerning for structures being burnt down. But there is a lot of danger with like gas lines still being open, so little fires can blast off, and there's a lot of hazardous material that's burnt up in these fires. So there's a lot of really terrible smoke in the air and ashes falling as well. And then as far as helping, I think you may have seen online there's an overwhelming amount of donations, physical donations, whether it's clothing or food or just everyday goods to help. And those are in the major drop-off centers and distribution centers. They're the ones that are really overwhelmed, and they're chock-a-block with goods. But there are smaller locations that are still in need of products. But I would say from my point of view, a good way to help is donating to the LAFD Foundation, which is the LA Fire Department Foundation, or even going on and researching individual families with GoFundMe accounts that are up and running, and find ones that strike a chord with you, that you feel a connection to, and help those out, because there is a lot of GoFundMe accounts that are really close to their donation limit, but there's a lot that are still 20, 10% along the road and still need a lot of money and a lot of help. So I think that's a really good way to help, especially if you're living in Australia or not in LA, and you're really wanting to help. There's a lot of GoFundMes out there that still need a lot of money to come in.
Yeah, mate. Lastly, just like those photos that you took were just, I mean, I know it was a kind of a silly situation to get yourself in, but like, have you had a chance to really look at them again since it all started?
Yeah, look, I have looked at some of them a couple of times, and it's really emotional because I think in the moment you're almost you're confused by the destruction and what is going on right before your eyes, and it's almost like watching a war movie where you're not all there. You're just watching it. You're not really partaking in the devastation that's happening. And then when I have looked back on them, I'm like, oh gosh, that is really intense and continues to be really intense. And like, I couldn't even imagine like looking at those photos and actually being one of the people that have lost everything and going, and it probably makes me really angry and really upset. And like, for me, looking at them, it's just a really sad image of what's happened to such a beautiful place in the country that I call home now. So it's I really hope that we start to rebuild and support the people that have lost so much, and hopefully there's some normalcy that comes back into the lives of those people that have lost everything.
For sure, man. And we wish you all the best, and we hope that everyone can stay safe and begin the rebuild as soon as possible. Thanks for jumping on the phone with us, mate.
Thanks for having me, Vaughn, and I really appreciate you bringing more awareness to what is happening over here. I really appreciate it.
Smithy, a little bit of sad news. Valet Alan Green, mate, one of the founders, or the founder, in fact, of Quicksilver, has passed away after complications with cancer. But what a monumental impact this guy had on the global surf culture. Like, I'll read the Stab story. This is kind of a good sort of insight into Al. It says, Alan Green, the low-profile visionary behind Quicksilver and a pioneer in surfwear, passed away this week. Born in Melbourne, Australia in 1947, Green's life was defined by a passion for surfing and an innate drive to innovate. In 1969, Green, along with his friends and later Rip Curl co-founders Brian Singer and Doug Claw Warbrick, founded a small wetsuit making brand in the basement of a house in Beale Street behind the Torquay pub.
How good.
Green would eventually split with the pair to focus on board shorts, and this venture marked the beginning of a journey that led to the creation of Quicksilver, a brand that would become synonymous with surf culture worldwide. The first product under the Quicksilver label was a pair of sculpted board shorts crafted with Velcro closures, metal snaps, and a distinctive yoke waist that forever changed surf apparel. These shorts, designed for performance comfort, quickly became the staple for surfers globally, and aided by Quick's iconic projects like the Quicksilver Eddie Big Wave event and the Young Guns film series and the Quicksilver Cross. I mean, this is over generations, mind you.
Yeah. Starting the time frame pretty late there, though, as well. I mean, there was a lot that preceded that. Nothing more iconic than the great... If you can't rock and roll, don't fucking go. The great advertising slogan from that era of board short innovation, nut hunging, split P deluxe, giving the girls on the beach a look at your girthy prong after another solid session out sunset. The Echo Beach era too. That was like a very fashion forward, just like genius design concept. I've forgotten his name, the kind of Japanese American lad there.
Danny Kwok?
Yeah, Danny Kwok was, I think, a figurative player in
Jeff
that
Hackman.
movement.
Jeff Hackman kind of got I think he was the first one to get the American license, and then he joined up with Bob McKnight. That changed the surf industry in the US forever. But, mate, how did Tom Carroll squeeze those ginormous figs into those tiny quickie boardies
mate.
All those
I think
years?
we all know the answer
Pressed,
to that.
Squashed, pancaked.
It was Al Green with a Jimmy bar.
A shoehorn.
Hold still, Tommy. We got to get into this thing. Your pipe heat's about to kick off.
Oh, you're so right. Just fly eyes for days out the side of Tommy Carroll's little tight numbers. So
good. Smooth like an egg, those flies' eyes too.
Big time, mate. He was on the Medina program early.
Oh, yeah.
Green's wife, Barbara, this is from Stab Still, played a pivotal role in naming the company, inspired by the word Quicksilver in a novel, which evoked qualities of fluidity, elusiveness,
and Zooid Jizz.
Attributes Green's associated with surfing. Okay, that's what Greenie said, with a cresting wave and a snow-capped mountain as its logo, Quicksilver encapsulated the spirit of adventure across snow and sea.
Well, that's what I love about it, Vaughn. The mountain and the sea, the great muses of us here, celestial matter.
That's right.
These humble little earth ships that we are, and the mountain and the sea, they inspire so much awe, and it's crazy that it took a guy from Melbourne/Torquay to happen upon this and condense it into his iconic logo. He really summed up in a logo the two most powerful things on planet Earth, and the sheer privilege of us surfing futurists being able to access both. The Tibetans obviously are up there around Mount Kailash in the Himalayan plateaus, absorbing the genius and mastery and power and tranquility of the mountains. And then you've got the sea worshipping folk in Peru and Hawaii and elsewhere. But, these futurists of the 1970s, these lysergic journeymen, these meditating gurus, realised, well, why not fucking have the best of both worlds? And so they did. And we see Yvonne Chouinard, Patagonia, kind of coming to the party a little bit later than Quicksilver, but with this identical message, that synchronicity, we should never forget it. Pay full respect to Al Green and his vision, the mountain and the sea, and stay close to both, Swellians. Stay close to both.
Well said, Smithy.
Well
Bravo.
said.
Bravo.
Another gold cone piece on the way.
Oh, I just, you've got me inspired. I'll never look at the Quicksilver logo over again. No, the same ever again. I might actually go home, light a candle in front of it, get a little prayer bowl, and start tapping into that mountain and wave energy.
Mate, it struck me on the Swellness pilgrimage, actually, to India there when we were in the Himalayas, and then we fucking journeyed from the far north to the furthest southern point and chasing waves, and we got waves, and I was like, wow, we've gone from the mountains to the sea, and we've combined these two ancient forces of natural energy and the effervescence of which flowed through us. And of course, I had to pay full respect to Al Green and Quicksilver that they nailed it.
Yep. And actually, mate, we've got an audience with a couple of other futurists. There's a big trade show coming up next week that we're going to host, which is basically celebrating sort of all corners of the surf. I don't want to say industry, but it kind of is. But it's more about like the crew who got it started in the 60s and 70s, and the crew who are getting it started again now with like the Formers and the Riviers and all these crew who are basically just trying to extend their surfing lives. Like that's really at the core of the Dane Reynolds and the Craig Andos, Julian, like all these guys. They just want to fucking surf forever. And they don't want to be beholden to anyone. And I think we're going to have an audience. It was going to be with Gordon Merchant. He's just pulled out, unfortunately. Oh, fuck. I was looking forward to that, man. I couldn't wait. Another sort of board short. Baron. And then, but I think we're going to be sitting down with Claw, man.
Oh.
I think we're going to be sitting with the great Doug Claw Warbrick.
Claw Warbrick.
So start rubbing your hands together and jumping up and down on the spots, Smithy. It's going to be a good one. I can't wait. But just a couple bit more on Greenie here. It's worth doffing the cap to someone so iconic. So under Green's leadership, Quicksilver expanded beyond Australia to the United States in 1970s, thanks to licensing deals managed by legends like Jeff Hackman and Bob McKnight, as we just mentioned. By the 1980s, the brand had established a global presence with distribution across Japan, Europe, and Australia. And, mate, fucking do yourself a favour and hunt out Mr. Sunset, the Jeff Hackman biography. It's written by Phil Jarrett. It goes deep into Quicksilver's first forays out of Australia into the US and out of Australia and into Europe, where Jeff Hackman, a functioning heroin addict,
well played,
somehow builds these multi-billion-dollar empires and still winds up shooting up in fucking back rooms in the Cross, losing it all, getting a second chance.
Our very own King's Cross.
Yeah, our very own King's Cross. He almost dies in just some shitty, junky shooting gallery in the back of nowhere.
It's a rite of passage in the Cross.
Oh, my God. I don't think there is a more riveting surf biography, and there's plenty of good ones out there. It is so wild, the shit that these guys did to get these companies off the ground.
Fucking wild.
Check that out. That's Phil Jarrett's Mr. Sunset, the Jeff Hackman story.
And let's, Can we go through a bit of a roll call of Quicksilver's achievements under our green? Some of the film projects, some of the surfers he sired, Lisa Anderson, Kelly Slater Black and White.
First $1 million contract was to Tom Carroll.
The
great TVC.
Of course, pretty much bankrolled the discovery of the Mentawais through Martin Daly and the Indies Trader concept.
Yep.
And not just there, like that boat went all over the world. I remember it being parked off El Salvador, Nicaragua, all these kind of shady cocaine-ravaged Central American banana republics.
Let's take it back to the birth of the Dream Tour, the 95...
G-Land Pro, of
G-Land
course.
Pro, or Quicksilver Pro at G-Land, where, Bruce Raymond tells the stories. They were getting footage and getting it on a chopper and
the
chuck it on the back of a little scooter.
That's right, the human chain across the Strait of Java there to the loss of thousands of Javanese for a single nightly news broadcast of the footage. Well played, Raymond. Some people are going to die for our surfing dreams.
Go further back, man. Mad Wax.
RCJ and TC.
Just rub it on.
Talk about
we want to go to Pipeline, sure whiz.
Give me some of that wax.
Kong's Island. Man, oh man. It just bleeds acid-infused futurism, all those concepts. The performers featuring probably one of the greatest cutbacks of all time by our boy, Big Dick Cram. Big Dick Cram, mate.
Big Dick-o. Talk about a masculine Bondi boy. He's fathered three of the fucking most chunk
You bounce
young
back
boy
and
humans.
forth through the eras, man. The Mick Campbell, Willsey era, taking on the might of Slater at the peak of his powers.
Imagine Green there, just sitting there on his throne, packing his pipe, ripping hot ones from dawn till dusk, looking at the empire of degeneracy and futurism that he's created, just going, it lives, my creation, it lives.
Yeah, so...
fucking legend.
Yeah, but I think sponsoring Kelly has got to be almost the higher watermark for Quickie. Like, young Slater, if you didn't live through it, was unlike anything before or since, man. Like, the surfing was always going to get, to another level, but that phenomena of what he brought to global surfing, like, there had never been celebrity anything like it. And it was unbelievable, Smithy. And that changed surfing for good, man. Like, the whole industry on the back of Slater Mania went fucking berserk, dude. And it really took the GFC to cut its legs out from under it.
And let's not forget skating, Tony Hawk.
Of course.
So, board sports.
It's all there.
It's all there.
And let's not forget Steph Gilmore.
Of course.
8 world
Roxy
titles.
Queen.
New York fucking richest surf comp ever. $300,000 for the first prize. Still not matched.
Holy
Owen Wright
shit.
taking that money home just for his
played.
accountant to pocket it.
You dog!
Fleece the whole fucking lot.
Grub.
Green's knack for recognising talent and fostering artistic collaboration with guys like Simon Buttonshaw and Pete Webb.
And let's not forget he fostered Marvin Foster.
Yep. Help Quicksilver build a global team.
For a couple of pipe nugs. Well played.
Tom Carroll, Lisa Anderson, Kelly Slater, Steph Gilmore. Slater chimed in on Instagram saying, "Love you, Greenie. You were one of a kind and a great friend and mentor for so many. I will miss you forever." So there it is, mate. Alan Green, we doff the cap and we acknowledge and celebrate what you brought to all of us. Me personally, Smiv, far out, man. When I was in my, Tom Carroll is God phase of my life, the only sticker that I wanted on my board was the mountain and the wave. So never happened though. Forney just not quite good enough, Smithy. So I'll just have to cop that one.
No, well said. I went through a similar phase. I actually had a real life deity of Tom Carroll, a small figurine that they were selling at the time, and
the little Tom Carroll surfer doll.
Yeah, the voodoo doll.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And my dream was to have that exact surfboard with that iconic swirl, the decal, and living through a golden age of Quicksilver surfing. My shelves were stacked. Quick Vids, Circle One. What was that? The fucking one. It was.
Well, Kelly Slater in black and white.
Kelly Slater in black and white.
110, 240. The Mondo Extreme Experiment, man.
Had a mad track from the Resin Dogs and a bunch of Samba Man.
ETR?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
The Matty Jai one where Cambo's walking down the street with a nut hanging out the side of his stubbies.
Yeah, fuck. It's actually not that one, but anyway, we'll move on. But yeah, that's how memorable it was.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's good.
A massive under to the passing, but it's an inevitable moment. So it's something we must all come to peace with.
Oh, that was an unders or overs. I was just doffing the cap, mate.
Yeah.
Doffing the Quicksilver cap. The corduroy Quicksilver cap.
Vaughan, on the topic of mad LSD futurists who've left this realm and passed on to another, also got to doff the cap to Mike Hinson. A brotherhood of eternal love alumni.
Wow.
Endless summer star. And just, one of the most freakish talents to emerge prior to the shortboard revolution, riding his big old triple stringer logs, insane reads, speed lines galore, hang tens, parallel stances.
What's the deal with Mike? Was he a bit prickly or something? Did he have a bit of a naughty side or something like that? I can't remember the actual...
He did detour into some illicit drug consumption, I think, after the Endless Summer years, and had some troubles with substance abuse, I believe, and there was a falling out between him and Bruce Brown and the Endless Summer franchise.
Right.
He felt like he'd been a bit ripped off. But at the end of the day, like, the guy, it's crazy. The surfing still stands up today. Go and watch it. Like,
it's
the
incredible.
speed lines, the momentum, and just the drop knee cutbacks, the crossover surfing, the sheer like ingenuity and fun and humor with which they surf. Like, that's what high performance surfing was back in the day. It
that's
had this
right.
full piss take element to it.
Yeah.
It's so crack up. Particularly when you look at the arena of Pipeline. Like, remember those fucked up, talk about the double bounce Scorpions of Doom, like prior to Morning of the Earth, when they figured out that, rocker was essential to surf this wave. It was Hinson who was doing that. He was sending it a huge pipe on these rockerless triple stringer fucking logs. No leggy, just getting so unbelievably flexed. Like, the wildest wipeouts of human history were suffered by this man. He self-sacrificed at the altar of Pipeline just as a pure trial and error procedure. I'm sure he knew, as he was trying to chip into those 1.5 reef 10-footers that this ain't going to go down very well.
It's like trying to fly a kite to Mars. That's the analogy you can draw there.
The string just immediately burns up on the fucking red hot atmosphere and it drifts away and dies. But he did that just to pave the way for the Pipeline surface of today. And again, just like, so deeply immersed in that crazy LSD-infused art on surfboards, shaped boards, like a true core titan of the surfing underground, sired the likes of Joel Tudor, who was there at his bedside as he passed on, playing Jimi Hendrix in his ears. A fitting way to sail off into what I hope is a sunset full of roping peelers and sacred geometry.
Oh, little bird, send me off. That's the way to go, Smithy. Love it. Doff.
Under or over?
Unders or overs? Smithy, Sydney beaches have been closed because of unknown balls washing up. Whose balls are they? Why do we assume that these balls are toxic? And if they are toxic, are they full of toxic masculinity like so many balls at beaches around Sydney? It's a worry. Dare I say it, could this be yet another conspiracy, Smithy, by, I don't know, maybe the woke brigade or the Me Too generation to try and eliminate balls from beaches Australia-wide?
Yes, Vaughan, it reeks of conspiracy, you're right. And look, if there's one thing I know the woke, pink-haired, bourgeois ABC brigade love, it's what is inside those balls. And that is the finest Colombian powder. Those cunts are so full of gack every weekend while they bang their faux socialist, champagne socialist gong during the week. It's a disgrace.
Yeah.
But look,
I think they've linked it now to raw sewage, it's primary treated sewage. So I think that means it gets filtered at some sort of sewage plant and then just pumped out to sea. And for some reason, it's starting to coagulate and form these testes, these floating, gross testicles that are just washing up on beaches and rendering the beaches uninhabitable.
So it's not some side effect of global warming that's seen Zooid jizz congeal and wash ashore?
No, it doesn't seem like it. I think maybe, I could be wrong here, but maybe we are on the cusp of another Scum Valley renaissance, mate, where, you go down for a surf, you kind of picking your way through the poopies.
Yeah, and the balls.
And the tampons and all sorts of shit that Bondi was covered in back in the day. But on the plus side, mate, maybe we're returning to the good old days of true core Sydney Beach camaraderie.
True grit.
Because nothing comes out of the shit like true grit.
No, that's right. And what an era it was. Probably the greatest era in the history of metropolitan surfing.
The best era of
Haran,
Bondi.
Cram,
Haran,
Weber,
Cram,
Powers, Elks, Gingell,
Blackie,
Never
all of them. Anyway,
Brennan,
be safe out there.
Yeah,
avoid balls at all costs.
I would suggest at this point, now knowing that it is congealed Zooid jizz or sewage or whatever it is, do stay away from the beach, surfers. But at the start, I was thinking, get down on the beach, stick a knife in those balls, and see what's in them. Could be a nest egg. Like the great Basque surfer who once found a similar congealed ball on the beach, stuck the knife in, only to find it was full of kilograms of creme de la creme cocaine. And, mate.
Well,
you know what he did?
What did he do?
Fucking genius. Instead of shitting himself and running to the nearest wallop to hand it in like the Good Samaritan, he sat on that thing. This was over in San Sebastian or thereabouts. He sat on that thing, made a few phone calls, found the Colombian guy who was waiting for that thing to wash up and sold it for, I think it was 50,000 euros, got himself a nice crib. Well played.
Well played.
Hackman relived.
Didn't nosedive off the edge of his own cliff, getting high on his own supply, Smithy?
No, I'm sure he tested it out, rubbed a bit of it on his gums and his coit and his nostrils and whatever other orifice can ingest that shit.
Hey, I'm just going to test it, make sure it's sweet. Just going to test one more. Hang on.
Hey, boys.
Hey, come around. Get over here, boys. We've got to test this shit out a bit more. Oh, yeah. Hey, one more before we bail, or? Yeah. Oh, yeah, one more, mate. One more.
Ding,
ding, reckon it's time for another one?
Your microwave's dead.
Reckon it's time for one more? Under.
Wore the dinger of the microwave out of you.
Under. Smithy, this is a comical one. Nike back in surfing. Nike, remember them?
Yeah, I do.
Remember they came into surfing for a bit?
Yeah, the swoosh, the tick.
Yeah, they got
a fair old kick up the court, they did.
Well, they sponsored Julian Wilson. They sponsored Carissa Moore. They
tried to sponsor Smithy.
They did try it, did they?
Yeah, remember?
Tried to steal you off Adidas.
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't have it. No chance. Tell your story walking. Take your fucking Ronaldo soccer boots, your Tiger Woods golf club, your fucking...
Oh, that's Smithy. Yeah, that's right. They tried to get the other Smithy.
Yeah.
The lesser known,
Smithy.
Not quite as
the one
tapped
with
in Smithy.
The rancid morals, all the money and good looks and Playboy models dripping off in that Smithy.
Insane talent. Wicked frontside hack. Mate, Sierra Kerr, Australian prodigy.
She's been swooshed up.
On her way to glory, was spotted at the World Juniors. Sandstone. Red Bull sticker up the nose and swoosh on the rail.
Wow.
And has signed apparently a two-year deal with the shoe brand, who has been accused of not having paid one Asian factory worker a legitimate minimum third world wage since they began. So dipping their toes back in the surf, Smithy, it makes sense. Shoes are everywhere in the lineup these days. You can't paddle out Snapper without seeing, Nikes, Adidas, freaking Yeezys.
Yeah, and if you're unlucky, you'll get a shoe right in the forehead from some uppity grommet.
Yeah.
Fuck off! Hey!
It's a match. It's a classic match, isn't it? Surfers and shoes. Think back to the mighty box days of Louis, Lowy, Powley.
Oh, who could forget the Raging Bull Globe shoes that were, you could barely get through a door frame of those things on. They were that wide.
Did they miss the memo that Globe's out? the Globe don't do surfing anymore. Like, what shoe companies are still there? DC's gone.
Fully.
Is this a misguided effort to try and, I don't know, get back into the good graces of surfers?
I think it's pure desperation. After reading that book, Born to Run, where it expounds endlessly on the abundant data that shoes are actually fucked for you, and like the great LSD-infused futurist George Greeno, we should all be going barefoot. Jorge Greenhoff, sorry. But it's all about barefoot these days.
Yeah.
Barefoot shoes, Vivo shoes. John Floss is on the Vivo shoe program. It'll be interesting to see if Sierra indeed sacrifices her, chakras, her posture for the sake of wearing her shoes like your Jamie O'Brien's pretends to drink Red Bull, all that kind of shit. Is she going to go down that route? Or is she going to barefoot it and just whack them on as she's when she's in the lineup or getting chaired up the lineup? Quick, get the shoes on her.
Very good question. But I'm just struggling to see where's this going with Nike? Because in the old days, when they thought, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll get the youth, right? We're going to just don't worry about giving the old people money. We're going to get all these youth, remember? Chloe Andino, Julian Wilson.
The Soul Surfer, Chloe Andino on 2 million years.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah. Not interested in comps at all, Smithy.
No, pure call lord, that guy.
But then they were like, hang on a minute. This culture's a bit whiffy. Not really feeling it. We're just going to buy Hurley, palm our team off onto the Hurley, and then next thing you know, they've flicked Hurley to Blue Star Alliance or someone.
Gone. Wilson, you got.
Have they forgotten? Has the marketing team turned over that quickly that they've forgotten that only a few short years ago they were picking their nose and wiping boogies all over surfing, Smithy?
Yeah. Short memories, but not us, Rince Corn.
Short memory must have a
Nike. Yeah, not us.
Anyway.
We remember. Yeah. We won't be fooled twice.
I'll say this.
Unless they pay us, in which case I'll be fooled for any
Exactly,
chance.
mate. Come on board. We haven't got a shoe sponsor, Smithy. But well played, Sierra Kerr. Good for you.
Yeah, cash in. Ka-ching.
Smithy, what do you reckon? Under in general, but I'll give it an over until they sponsor the show.
Yeah, that's it. And, mate, and their third world workers for that matter. But yeah, look, the Kersey Empire goes from strength to strength. Another feather in the cap of that iconic duo.
How long till boutique footwear becomes a thing in surfing? Kersey could be the man. Stab Awards, Smithy.
Well,
this is...
Yes.
you got something else?
I just wanted to acknowledge Mason Ho's 2024 highlights before we get to the Stab
has
Awards.
He put it out?
He has.
Oh, I haven't seen it, no.
Oh, okay. Well, I
haven't seen the Chippo doco that's just been dropped too. Have you copped that?
No.
Apparently it's 17 minutes. That is a bit of a deep dive of his journey from beating Slater before he had pubes to get knocked off tour. So that'd be a pretty solid watch.
Good surf.
Sorry, just wanted to alert you to that. But
yeah, get on it.
Tell us about Mace.
Well, mate,
haven't copped it yet.
Look, fuck. It's like, you've seen all the clips, so there'll be no great revelation to what's in there. That fucking psycho Scottish slab, bone dry grinders, of course. A bunch of wave pool shit that was just blowing my mind. And it just reminded me of the fact that he has inherited the great Aussie rights mantle as the funnest surfer on planet Earth to watch.
Yep.
And I actually took the liberty of listing some of the shenanigans. Like, it's, he's not doing groundbreaking, high performance raising of the bar surfing, but it's kind of tapping more into that Mike Hinson variety of surfing shenanigans and
futurist.
Pure hilarity.
Futurism.
Mate, a classical futurist.
Oh, yeah. And also like a
psychedelic in the extreme.
Psychedelic astral traveller.
Big time.
Mate, that guy is rarely in our realm.
Yeah.
Rarely.
Nah, very rarely. You can barely get a word of sense out of him. Pure acid gibberish. Well played. But yeah, look, here's just a list of some of what I saw. A reverse chop hop into the pit at Deserts. He's got that reverse 3-0 thing wired into the pit. He's kind of thought of, getting tubed. It's all too easy these days. What can I do to spice it up and add a bit of hilarity and a mix of like a core surfing maneuver.
A bit of entertainment, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's not very respected or functional, but used as an entry point to the tube. Well respected. A double bunny hop into the pit at the KS wave pool, a little boing boing tube. He's taken off with his board backwards. This is at the Palm Springs kind of rolling.
Oh, of
pit.
course, yeah, saw that.
Takes off.
That slab can beat you down.
Oh, fucking oath.
It's brutal.
It's got like Scorpion into the cement written all over it.
It has, yeah.
Let's not forget the price, the dear price paid by the great Swellnet shaman Stu Nettle.
Oh, of
at
course,
the opening
at
of
the Urban Surf.
Oh, he looked like a digger, didn't he, on the Kokoda track, mate? Just head bandaged, arm in a sling.
Straight into the floor of the new cement complex. And But do you remember that day there was also like a couple of Essendon like first graders paddling around on boogie boards just going straight over the falls on the slabs setting?
Oh, mate, some of the craziest
like,
Scorpions I've ever seen. I was like, mate, you should quit playing professional football and get a start in Cirque du Soleil because you can dead set feed yourself grapes with your feet with that kind of flexibility. Yeah. So, yeah, we had him taking off with his board backwards. This was peak shenanigans. He's taken off with his, the fins at the front facing the wrong way around. So as he paddles in with his board backwards, the board spins around Hinson style. This was one of Hinson's favourite manoeuvres. Board spins around. He stands up. So he ends up facing switch. So he takes off natural, board going backwards. It spins around as he's chipping in. He ends up switch, but then body varials back to natural just in time to duck under the guillotine and get coned. Yeah. Fucking masterful shenanigans. There was a frontside punt into a person inside of a giant blow-up sphere.
I saw that one. Yeah, that was some sort of swatch games at the Texas Wave Pool.
Yeah, well played.
Yeah.
There was frontside chop hops into VLAN pits.
True.
And let's not forget the judo heard around the world at Stab High and a bunch of rodeos that earned him a 10 grand US paycheck. Obviously, a bunch of just crazy rock-hopping slabs. But the thing that really blew my mind about this clip was some of the best waves he got in 2024 were at Ihakai Sandbar, which is, I reckon, probably the most underrated wave in Hawaii, if not the world. The thing is churning out fucking like Stratty on steroids cones. And Mason gets two of the craziest ones you'll ever see. A fucking backside behemoth, so blue, so green, gets blown out. He's impossibly deep. The thing has to be breaking in centimeters of water. Gets blown out, does, again, the traditional claim, a reverse chop hop.
Yep.
And he gets I think it's the closer to that section, just a steep, deep knife into a squared out frontside one, blown out for a full-blown glitch cone. So Mason's 2024 highlights over.
Huge over. It's the video you look forward to watching every single year. It's kind of like the Spotify Wrapped thing that they send you at the end of every year. You look back over it and you're like, oh, I don't remember any of that shit, but sure. All right. I'll enjoy that. I'll enjoy that little wrap-up. But he's got... The thing about his highlights, as you say, the enjoyment factor is monstro. You don't time out on him. You know, like doesn't matter who's surfing you love or whatever, barring maybe Conehead, of course, by Solly Bailey, and Here by John. But you just don't tap out of Mason surf sections. It's just every wave gives you something different, mate. A little bit of a flavour, different spice. Bring it on, more.
So fun to watch and such a bulwark to the seriousness, the moody, high performance stuff that's just getting pumped into your eyeballs every second day on Stab. No disrespect to Stab, they're there to showcase that kind of surfing, but fuck, it's good to just get that funny bone tickled and get reminded of what it really is to be in that core, the deep, cosmic, futurist, LSD-infused core of this culture. Yeah. Which has shenanigans at its beating
fun,
heart.
Dude. It's fun. And actually, there was a lot of DOFs to fun in the 2024 filmmaking. We went deep on that in the Golden Cone Peace Awards at the start of the year. But looking forward to seeing this next little Katie Simmers offering that's dropping in the next week or two as well.
Simmersy, bro, with another offering?
Maybe.
Wow.
She's busy. It's busy. Katie Simmers. Speaking of Katie Simmers, Stab Surfers of the Year. No surprises, really. They do a peer poll, of course. Not as sort of steeped in prestige as the Golden Cone Peace Awards, Smivvy, but nonetheless, they canvass kind of... It's pretty much like the World Tour surfers and a bunch of just stab-friendly sort of Gen Z, is it? Kind of crew, just to chip in. A few influencers have their say in there. John Florence and Katie Simmers take out Surfers of the Year for 2024, according to the pollsters. Juniors of the Year were Dane Henry and Aaron Brooks. Huge result for Dane Henry.
Yeah.
Australians are
Well
pretty much
earned.
fucking locked away, those juniors. Huey Vaughan won it a couple of years in a row, and good stuff. Motel Hell gets the nod over Conehead.
Wow.
But,
controversial, but I'm
well
here for
earned.
it.
I'm
Yeah,
definitely
well earned.
backing it. Good on ya to Hazza and Dav Fox. And edit of the year was the Floz Bros with Parallel C. But any surprises in terms of how the world's best surfers rated their top 10, Smithy? I've got one major one, but for you, mate, like John, Nate Florence in second, Griffin, then Yago, then Ethan, below Griffin and Yago, Noah Dean and Mason Ho. So a couple of that sort of free surfing world getting doffs from the boys there. Gabriel Medina in 8th, Solly Bailey, and then Italo in 10th. The big surprise for me, mate, the Vortex Shaman. Has he got it too good? Like, is it because he's just got super hot babe, dream life, can surf any conditions better than just about anyone? Is he just too horny in heats and it's rubbing people the wrong way and they can't pay him?
It's a great point. It's a shocking overlook.
It's a shocking overlook, mate. You tell me, a surfer, I mean,
What's a man got to do?
what is it that he is lacking that people aren't looking at him and going, oh, Jack Rubbo for sure. Vortex. Vortex me up. Rub me in Vortex.
Oh, yeah. Give me some of that sweet, sweet Vortex any day of the week. Nom, 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 nom. Yeah, I when I look at this list, it does seem a bit Seppo-centric to me. And we don't need Gary Elkton's words of wisdom ringing in our ears to know that they are a bunch of wankers, self-flagellating wankers, just feeding themselves.
Excluding the Swellian Americans, of course.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, they're
Listen
part
to
of
this
the
show, you know you're on the right path.
Nah, of course. I mean, they belong to the Swellian Republic, Vaughan.
That's right.
It's a world that has no borders, that exists in the LSD futurist space that hovers and floats between the mountain and the sea.
Mate, but your thoughts just on Yago and Griffin even, just getting ahead of our boy Hewing? Well, how do you feel about that?
I don't know. What's it based on? What's the metric
Well,
here?
I think it's got to be a bit of nods to the boys, doesn't it? Doffs for the crew. A lot of crew, when you go through their... You'll see a lot of crew actually just vote for their posse. Anyway, just worth a look.
Ethan, he's famously media averse. He's not active on social media. He's not in the vlogosphere.
Didn't have a standout year last year compared to the year before, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think he's as visible as a lot of elite surfers in the world with the kind of skill set he's got. You just want to see more of him. You want to know more about him, but it's not his style, and that's fair too. I totally respect when people want to keep their privacy and, just tick the boxes they need to and enjoy a laid-back North Stratty style life. Who could blame the man?
No Phil Toledo in there. Solly Bailey makes an appearance in the top 10. Well earned. Ninth though, yeah. Come on.
Disgrace.
Come on, you surfers. Get your
They're not
finger
seeing
out of
Conehead?
here.
Do they not listen to the Ain't That Swell Golden Cone Piece Awards and relish in a clean sweep for Conehead?
There is no bias in our judging for those awards, Smithy. It is just 100% truth, which is all you can ask for in this fucking sad and sorry world of disinformation and misinformation. Is all you want is truth, and that's all the golden cone pieces represent and acknowledge, mate.
Waves of truth, get number ones in our book, Vaughan.
Yep, and women's, no surprises, but Erin Brooks already up to number 2, so whoa, what's she going to do this year? The Katie-Erin war is about to heat up.
It's crazy to see the votes too, like John Flores doubling, and a 1-2 for the Florence brothers. Well earned.
Yep.
Well earned.
Yep.
Nate Florence, again, tapping into that light-hearted, but at the same time, mortally consequential side of surfing, similar to your Mason Hose. But 189 for John. That's double the second place Nate Flores, and Simmersy Bra similar.
Yeah.
In terms of her domination of the pole.
They had the years. It was their year. There's no question. So they got it right.
Conequence,
well
world
played,
titles.
Stabs.
What more can you want?
Big under for Solly finishing 9th and not higher, and Vortex not making the list is just a Oh, okay. Yeah, the mind boggles. But the only omission really from my top 10 for female surfer of the year was Sally Grits Gibbons. Deserves to be there, Gritsy.
Well said.
We'll get her on a show one of these days. Ask us a question, Smithy. Here we go, bro.
Does John Flowers have Kelly Slater's foreskin in his knee? Does Gabby shave the bits of skin that none of us can see? If you drag your filthy cornhole down to the face of the old man pipe, will sparks fly from it like a comet across the lonely
They got
night?
to say the mad futurists.
Paulie McNeil.
Oh, the
Friend of the
mayor.
show. Yeah,
Well played.
he's
Artist, Mambo, original.
been a guest on
Been a
guest on the show. Rando Conversations. We went down the art well. Talk about the old days of Mambo, but he just says, how many fins this week, lads? How many fins? Guess he's referring to us starting the year on single fins. Where are you going to go for the Usher Cup, Smitty? Back onto the Thruzzers, mate.
Yeah, I've actually got a Luke Daniels A-sim looking at the size of this South Swell. I don't know how they really interact when they're in that 4 metre range with Snapper behind the rock. I'm a little concerned about that. But, there'll definitely be waves on the point somewhere. A bit of refraction. So I think a Luke Daniels A-sim 6.6 could be the go if there's a couple of Curage Rainers maybe or...
I might be getting on the quad. Just picked up a little Bobby quad from the good crew at Onboard.
Wow.
Looking after Vorno. Thanks heaps on board. That's Channel Islands. Good on you, Brit.
Are you kidding
Come
me?
on. I actually saw, I think it was, who are the boys on the Stab podcast? It's Michael Chiramamala and Buck. Brendan Buckley. They were talking about the Bobby quad being a pretty good go-to. So I was like tempted to have a sniff at that. Shout out to Channel Islands. Thanks, boys. Next question. This is from Maxwell S. I think we've addressed this. Probably worth revisiting right now, Smithy. Who's the best tour surfer, class of the past, and then current class, never to win a world title, men's and women's? I'll kick this off if you don't mind. Got Taj Burrow and Sally Grits Gibbons from, I'd class them in this current era, and then Simon Anderson and TF maybe from the days of yore. Trying to think, maybe Rochelle Ballard is the women's finished runner-up to Lane and Lisa, I think. So they're my two. What about you guys?
Best surfers never to win a world title. Have to go with Scum Valley's finest, Shane Horan, coughed up 4 in a row to MR, the son of a used car salesman from Merriweather. Sent him on a deep dive through the annals of his brain and definitely some liquid lysergic. A true futurist, though, he dug deep and emerged like a phoenix from the ashes to run a pretty profitable surf school up there on the Gold Coast. The retirement, the pension fund, as it were, for the great surfers of the 70s and 80s.
Well, when your life's philosophy is you'd rather grow a lettuce than win 50 grand, you'd probably rather grow a turnip than win a fucking world title, Smithy. And it doesn't play out that well in the long run, bro.
Nah, those turnips, they have a bitter taste to them.
A couple of chip-ins here. David Dulles says, Hero and Lynette McKenzie for the wins.
Oh, Lynette.
Up the bra.
Maruba's finer
The fiery little sister of Steve Bullet McKenzie. Good Lord, from back in the day.
That couple.
And Hero, fair call. He got off to a flyer against Kelly and then was never seen again. It was a quick one.
The
flame pour. It burnt bright.
It
but
did.
it
like
burned out
mercury
quick,
in the
bro.
dish. That thing blinded me.
Yeah.
Blinded Hero too, sadly. But
and let's not forget public service announcement. Be careful when you buy one of Hero's old boards, all right? No, just the pubis area starting to absorb that hectic venereal issues. All right, so what else have we got here? Vince Boulanger. Oh, great name, Vince Boulanger.
Wow.
Sounds like we might have to name our upcoming Swellian Grenache.
Yes.
The Swellian
Like
Boulanger.
it sounds like a kind of flaming, deep, rich bowl of encrusted Zooid jizz.
Yeah, I love that. Who reckons?
Goes a bit brown on the top, and you just got to crack it with a spoon. It's rich and textury beneath.
We got to speak to the boys in SA who are creating, our Swellian vintage from, the vineyards down there, top secret vineyards. We got to incorporate a little bit of that Zooid Jizz. We just have to.
We have to. Do we get to go down there and stomp a few grapes?
That could actually
Sniffing his Adidas, stomping the grapes.
Yeah, how's that swelling Grenache? Oh, mate, it's got some fucking sting to it, I'll tell you that much. My tongue's been swollen for a week.
bit of Zooid Jizz, a bit of trace elements of herring pubis. Yeah,
what's that called? The dactylozoids. The harpoons full of venom. Bring it on, Smivvy. But yeah, he said. I've lost it now, but he said TB. Oh no, Julian or Geordie. That's fucking fair call.
Yeah, solid
at their peak.
Even the Big O. Really came on strong, didn't he? Knocking Slater in kind of as a wild card at Bells with that tail drop floater heard around the world.
Rob Machado. He was a runner-up to the world title.
Technician.
There's another one here. Rice Corey 05, TB, Julian, and brother. To which Maxwell S just gave a big flat tire to brother. He was not having it. He said, mate, he couldn't even pull a comp win together. Hard to argue that he deserves a world title. Mate, he's still flat tiring. He's just he's riding around on his rims at the moment.
If you're going to drop brother in there, you may as well drop Phil McDonald in there. I'm sure he had more World Tour wins.
Oh, Phil, if you mate, waiting for O&E to get back on the program too, mate. Come on, get on board, bro. Official accessory partner of the Swellians. Gone cold on us, but they'll be back.
Oh, come on, they'll be back. They always come back.
Come on, Phil. Come on, Phil
hands and knees.
This is Dad Kooks. Dad Kooks Reviews. I wonder if he's got a podcast. Sounds like a good one. Will the John Law's Golden Tonsils love child, Ronnie Blakey, make a reappearance on the Wazzle? We miss you, Ronnie.
Valvoline, you know what I mean.
Can confirm.
He's back.
Ronnie's back. He's back for the Aussie leg, and he might have a little Swellian wingman sitting on his shoulder.
Wow.
Heard it here first, Smivvy. Yeah, for the whole Aussie leg, believe it or not. Could be a bit of, well, let's just put it this way. Back when me and Ronnie were Grons, we used to share the bath. We could be sharing the booth.
Excellent. Something to look forward to.
Howdy Loudy wants to know, what are Vaughan's thoughts on Fisher turning his back on the bald community? Disgrace! Fuck. What do you make of this, Smithy?
Yeah.
Like, Smith, he's gone out. He's gone to Turkey. He's had the procedure done. Or if he hasn't had it done in Turkey, maybe in Australia somewhere. But he's got the coin. And, I mean, who's next, mate? Joycey? We're going to see Joycey just appear with that long, beautiful blonde locks, puka shell necklace in full resplendor. Goat, obviously. Fuck, how good would he look with a full, just hirsute rug?
You'd be straight back on the scene with Pammy Anderson.
Well, as a man with hair, a generous helping of, you're going good, mate. What, you reckon you're on the way out? Well, let me tell you, the 5 rules. The 5 rules.
Oh, remind me.
You know what they are. It's denial, anger, acceptance, and then helping others. And no one likes helping other people. At least get through the denial phase more than bald cunts. They'll fucking do the first one, chirping up if they see a little bit of thinning out going on, a little Devon patch starting to form. A shout out to the great bald Devon patches from the West, Jezza Blake and Johnny Blake, the Art Maud crowd. But yeah, what do you make of it, mate? You know, like a lot of rugby league players say they get an injury early in the season, they disappear, no social media, no nothing, and then they run back on the field with a fucking full head, mate.
Really?
Matt Lodge being the obvious example. Dougie Bollinger from the Australian cricket team, he did it.
You reckon they're jumping on a quick red eye to Turkey, getting the transplant,
100%.
the Trump-esque transplant.
Yeah.
But, I mean, those combat sports, they're not really comb-over friendly as far as I know. Better be fucking wedged deep into the skull, those plants.
Oh, they're deep. And I actually looked it up the other day, just for no reason. Just a curiosity. But the hair that they replant into your head is... It goes and it grows, and it'll actually age. It'll go grey naturally and all that sort of stuff. So
that's insane.
But a little concerning.
And why Turkey?
They take it from the back of your head,
right?
But they'll also take it from other areas like your back.
Wow.
Your pubis region.
Are you kidding
me? Your gooch. and your ears and nose. So if I can cop that.
Oh, God forbid I do ever go bald and end up with a nice little Lionel Richie style pubis jerry curl on the top. I'll be steezing. Get the
Smitty
moustache
Merkin.
going, the satin shirts. Ooh, easy like Sunday morning.
The Smivvy and Deadly Merkins available now at ain'tthatswell.com.
Mate, and I'll tell you, my pubis region is bursting. So if you're looking for a transplant, hit Smivvy up.
Who do you reckon would benefit the most out of a big, like a proper Fisher-style hair replacement therapy right now?
In the world of surfing or...
Have we seen Kyle Belly since he had the procedure? He's got it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. He's running a kind of Angela Davis era afro. It's wild, Steez.
Fuck, how
He's got
great.
the comb stuck in there.
Oh, that's definitely pubes. They've ripped those straight out of the asshole. Anyway, best of luck to you. I reckon, I reckon Joycey. And I was talking to my wife about it, Ali. I was like, fuck, I might do it. I might do it when I'm 70, though, just for a laugh.
Get the full slicked back greaser look. Be sick.
I wonder if you can actually pick people to get their hair and ask if they donate hair for you. Like, be great to get, I don't know, Potts has a fucking mean back rug.
Oh, man.
That'd be sweet.
He's got the filthiest rug you've ever seen
That would
on
be
the back.
sweet, man.
Fuck, just full steel wool hair.
Imagine that.
Brill cream it up.
Oh, just to have Potts' back hair growing out of your head. Fucking oath, alpha male.
Oh. It's the ultimate sign of respect, too. I mean, once upon a time, there was guys getting around with Quicksilver and hot tuna tattoos. Now you can get your favourite surfer's backhand planted straight to your scalp.
Yeah, that'd be good stuff. Shout out to Alva Shapes for the Jezza and Johnny Blake Art Maud shout out. Jez77 Smithy wants to know, do you reckon there'll be an asterisk on the world title this year with no Gabby? Or will it depend on what conditions are like throughout the year and who actually wins? Look, I think you touched on it before. I don't think Gabby's been at peak form for quite a while. You see flashes of it, but he hasn't put together a year for quite some time, and there'll be no asterisks here unless Phil Toledo wins, mate. That's the only asterisk I can see coming.
Mate, I'll tell you this for sure. Given the opportunity, Gabby would love nothing more than to rub his filthy asterisks all over this world in 2025. He'd love to besmirch the 2025 world champ with a Medina asterisk, as bleached as it may be after this year of vigorous rutting he'll no doubt be enjoying.
It's Brawny wants to know, is it possible to get Kelly Slater's foreskin from, the South American Petri dish factories
the
where they
Tijuana
just
factory
farm goat foreskin like there's no tomorrow? Into Gabby's shaving cut, a.k.a. pectoralis injury. Or is it better we withhold the great man's Forey and get Al Cleveland Jr. on tour? Great question. Look, I'd like to see Al Cleveland on tour, but not at the expense of Gabe. So I think let's start snipping away and really shooting up Gabby's peck with that foreskin.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the injury, if that is how it went down, the kind of layback off the full road herb just tore the pec. And we know if there is one thing you can say for certain about Kelly Slater's foreskin, the elasticity of it, it is like the David and Goliath slingshot. You can pull that thing back. Fing! So, couldn't find a better home than Gabby's
That's
pec.
it.
And
That's it.
He relies on that flexibility, the
durability.
The durability.
Yeah, it's gonna last. Like once that Slater Forey gets into your pectoral muscle, mate, your flexibility, but your durability is on, because we know that foreskin has had some fucking. Well, it has dished out some serious punishment over the years.
Oh, mate, just the sheer swelling on a daily basis that has to go through.
Should we tell the Fisher story one more time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where Fisher and Slater end up at a urinal at the exact same time, and Fisher can't help himself. He has to peel over, have a little look, and he goes, "Fuck, you've got it all, cunt." Oh, good shit. Good question here, Smithy. And this is from Wee Man Scoop Dog.
The Wee Man, Jason Acuna? I thought he was dead.
No, not the Wee Man. This is Wee Man Scoop Dog. Rolling down the street, smoking menthol, etc. It's a really good question, actually. Are Byron kebabs still massive and good?
What kind of kebab are we talking about?
Well,
the loosely packed kebab you're going to find after a night on the Coco Mangas dance floor when you take that finished backpacker back to your room and Peel away. Neoprene bikini.
Well, I can't. I know Bay Kebabs is still open.
Oh yeah.
If he's talking, he's talking
the traditional kebab.
The traditional kebab. Well, Bay Kebabs is still open. Had one recently, very very good. But Abracababra has closed down.
Well
Tragedy.
Pumped. What a sad loss to the kebab landscape.
I think there was a DA in for cylindrical sandwiches to open up just down near the new Babobo.
What's a Babobo?
Property development that's going in. Just in the middle of town. Yabba Kebabadoo.
I don't know if it's the single drop of futuristic lysergic I had this morning, or these jokes are really hitting, but I'm pissing out the eyeballs.
Yab Kebababoo. What he goes? It's a little caravan that's like just open. Sadly, all vegetarian, so no one really eats there.
Ah, fuck that.
Shawamageddon. At Suffolk Park. Steer clear, everyone. Steer clear of Shawamageddon.
Unless you want a red hot comment coming out their coin. Steer clear of Shawamageddon.
It's bad. Kebabi Road, where the Beatles used to get their kebabs. More leaning towards your Indian style kebabs. So no beef, obviously the sacred cow. Respected, absolutely kebabulous. is rumoured to be opening in the old Danny Will's Quicksilver store up at the very top of Johnson Street, and the good kebab and the ugly is also rumoured to be opening in the old Rainbow store. But
yes, well played.
Yeah, lots of kebabs getting around Byron, always has been. None better than Kokomangos, of course. That's if you really want
packed kebab.
Well, that's when you
Where's
get
that
it's the
franchise.
Lukey Dukester. Are young kids surfing? Average lineup age, I reckon, is about 50. And the learning curve of surfing is so steep for the TikTok generation. Wave pools, I reckon that'll they just seem to be popping up everywhere. It just fast tracks grommets into fucking surfing.
It does, but how good is it going to be when the silver spooner, wave pool raised, bourgeois little snots come out into the seething post-apocalyptic landscape of a climate changed generic lineup filled with congealed Zooid balls.
Yeah.
Try and get a wave off Smivy's offspring. Good fucking luck, cuz.
Oh, even just Smivy himself, mate. Right, it'll be
pots endowed, fringe.
Well, by then,
back hair,
the oceans will be boiling, the rainforest will be gone, and any sort of just public courtesy or looking after the sensitive souls of this planet will be well and truly over, and it'll be the Terry Richo elbows employed left, right, and centre, regardless of age, gender, ability, or anything. It's just going to be survival of the fittest. And Smithy, I can see you fucking putting a scalpel to the backs of people's heads left, right, and centre.
Oh, mate, there'll be
8-year-old
lessons
kids
aplenty
in floaties on soft
Can't
tops.
wait. Come on down for a free lesson in surf etiquette. You fucking little snot.
Mate, just one more. This was my favourite question of the whole thing. Fuck, this made me laugh. This is from I Love Fire Pits. Which, fuck it, great.
Yeah,
well played.
Obscure.
Well played.
But I do too.
Yeah, I love a fire, but a well-contained fire in a well-built fire pit. Fucking oath, mate.
Jeez,
back it.
Mate, I'll tell you, they really fucking love a well-contained fire pit in Southern California.
Especially because, just free shout out for Alfie's fire pit.
Are we allowed to make puns about the blazing inferno in Southern California?
Mate, look.
It's probably too soon, isn't it?
The news cycle moves so fast.
We haven't even got through an episode. We're literally sitting in the same episode as someone who's lost his whole fucking home.
Yeah.
And I'm already making puns.
Well, look, mate.
It's a disgrace.
Comedy doesn't age well, so it's not your fault, Smithy. But this was so good from I Love Fire Pits. By the way, if you want a fire pit, my old man makes them. And they're sick.
Oh,
I'm going to whack
so
them. I'm going to
sick.
whack them on the Swelly and Graham. Check them out.
Yeah, talk about post-apocalyptic twisted metal sheetscapes.
They're full Mad Max spec,
Fucking oath.
fucking Furiosa, Fury Road. He gets old motorbike sprockets and truck rims, welds them all together down in his bottom shed, and pick one up for like $3 to $5,000. This might sound like a lot, but mate, that thing will outlast you. It'll be there. Fucking at the very end of days.
When the landscape is naught but black smoke and
That's it.
charred koala corpses, Alfie's fire pit will stand
remain
strong.
So, last question, Smiv. This is from I Love Fire Pits. Will Gabby and Johnny Boy Gomes ever be fit enough at the same time to have a world title showdown?
I'd like to see.
I've misread this. I think he's talking about John, but because he wrote Johnny Boy, I just threw the Gomes in because I just love the idea of fucking Johnny Boy making a comeback in his new state of mind where he's posting inspirational quotes.
That's right. He's gone through the hellfire and come outside the other side as a born-again Christian. And, I mean, fuck, with where sports science is going right now, particularly in, your North Koreas, your doldrums of the Siberian tundra and the hidden laboratories, who knows whether we could not see a late career charge on the Changers with JBG turning out in the Huntington Slop Fest and delivering a few Terry Richo elbows to the back of the heads of his young competitors. Jeez, you'd love to see it.
And just, Medina paddling rings around him with his foreskin-infused pectoralis. It's just a match made in heaven. Don't worry about John. Let's get JBG back on tour against Gabby circa 2032. Smithy, just in time for the Olympics.
Bring it on!
Bring it on!
Are you kidding?